right, we're live. We're waiting for people to show up. So, hey Laura, how's it going? Excuse me, Lori, good to see ya. Good to see ya. How's everybody today? Can everybody hear me all right? How's life, guys? How is everything? All right. Whew, Kimmy, how's it going? Oh, thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, that was one of. It's funny because I've had experience like going live on like. It wasn't like a huge radio show or anything, but like I've had experience doing those things before. But it was still weirdly. It was the first time I've been interviewed like that, so it was fun. It was fun. Hey, extra small popsicle, how's it going? How's everybody doing today? We are just getting started here. Whew. How's everyone like? What do they want me to ask? Spirit baby, hey, good to see you. All right, we're just ramping up. So we do have general readings for everybody. So it's for general readings for the fire signs, the earth signs, the air signs, and the water signs, and a bit of a collective reading. And it's for sun, moon, rising. So yeah, happy Friday. I have a weird schedule. I don't have weekends off, but that's okay. Okay, well, we can do a quick general collective. I can pull a few cards for everyone that's here while we're everyone's showing up here. Oh, top card. Yeah, Archangel Jeremiah, learn from your challenges, relax, and trust. I should also turn the light on because it's dark here. Just sitting in the dark here. Ooh, a card? Yes. Archangel Jeremiah. I get the word hope from this. It is definitely not typically a card about hope, but learn from your challenges, relax, and trust. I think relax and trust, honestly, is the theme. Just like things going on in life, things going on in the universe. I feel like everything is actually shuffling towards better, despite anything the news might tell you. They're also pointing my eyes towards the shell here on the staff. Hey, Jacqueline, how are you doing? One, I feel like shells could be a sign for you guys. Two, I get harvesting pearls. So what's that about? I also hear unveiling magnificence. I feel like people are getting what they need to harvest the pearls in their life. And harvest time is soon. And you know, autumn is typically, I want to say rendered, but depicted as a time of harvest. So I feel like that's coming up for a lot of you. And I get won't be barren. Like this landscape back here is kind of barren, but I'm actually hearing won't be barren coming up here. I would also like trust, because I feel like the world is getting better is one thing I'm hearing. It doesn't always seem like that. Like there's definitely like a lot of light kind of like on the card pouring onto the earth. So there's a lot getting exposed, but it doesn't mean things are getting worse, is something I'd say. Okay, so should we just get started? I can keep doing some general stuff. Oh, I'm gonna pull one of these cards for everybody here. Yes, 16, Our Lady of New Vision. I hear grounding in the new. And that's a lot of like the messages that came through. They don't want me to talk about it yet for the general reading here. There is a lot of new coming in for everyone. One, also grounding is a good idea. I did say grounding in the new. I would also they're pointing my eyes to the throat on this woman. And they're saying, I would pay attention to your throat chakra, guys, and make sure that's kind of, I feel like that's expanding. I think a lot of people are getting ready to speak their truths. And speak up more in their lives, and I have a train honking outside to confirm that. So, so keep an eye out for that. I would also invite grace into your life, and I feel like there's almost these. They're not hummingbirds, but they look like hummingbirds. I would say I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be getting to the nectar of life soon as well. That's something that's coming in. I think that's more winter time for everybody here right now. if that makes sense. Let's see. How's my week? My week is okay. My week has been good. I feel like I'm there's like a lot in my life that's up in the air, so I'm like, oh, where am I going next? But it's also like I know I have nothing to worry about, so it's like, okay, well, I'll know soon. I keep getting I'll know, and yeah, this card popping out as a talk about direction, Our Lady of Divine Direction. I think I'll know next month is basically what my guides told me. Ooh, all right. An orb, hey, orb time. Cool. Hey, Kimmy Roche. Deja, now what did I just walk into? How are you doing, Deja? Good to see you. Who saw the orb? Someone saw it. I guess a bunch of people saw the orb. Orb time. It's a good sign. They want to set me into channel mode for the readings here, so 1 second. Not, I mean, yes, full channel mode, but I don't know if I'll have my eyes closed for this. So, shall we get started? I'm exhausted from work, but I'm good now. How about you? It's nice to see you. Oh, it's nice to see you too. I'm good. Man, I had an interesting day. I got a massage today, and yeah, I don't know. I was feeling a little bit like, I don't know if down's the right word, but just, I don't know. It's just something I need to push through. But I'm good. It's been really rough lately. I hear that. I'm sorry to hear that, Healing Journey Candles. It definitely won't be rough forever. I do feel like definitely a bit of a purge, but the purges aren't forever. It does get to a time where you kind of rise above the turbulence, perhaps, in your flights and get to a smoother airstream, you could say. Awesome. This week is odd. I hear that. It's been an interesting week. I've been, the past, like early August, I feel like that first week was great. And then it was I at least had an interesting time the next couple weeks, but I feel like it's getting there. It's just, it's like one more climb out of not a hole, but it's like you're about to climb out of a hole, if that makes sense. Oh, thanks, Teja. Okay. So, let's jump in. So I have a bunch of general reading time. I'm ready for general readings. I have a bunch of, Bridget, I've watched your live several times, but I've yet to get any words of guidance from you. Gotcha. Well, this is a lot of general readings, so I might do a short Q&A at the end. And yeah, I know some days get really busy, so I don't always get enough time to get to everybody. But we'll see if we can get to you here. Makes sense, Peering It Too. Yeah, feeling it too with Pure Divine. Yeah, so I have a bunch of channel messages. This is general. It's for the signs, so but it's by element. So if you have, and it's also by sun, moon, rising, if I'm going to explain this properly. So if you have a fire sign that's a sun, a moon, or a rising, fire signs are for you. But let's say you have a fire sign that's a sun sign, like Leo, and then you have, I don't know, Scorpio as a moon sign. Then let's say you have Scorpio as a rising as well. Then water and fire would both be for you. So if you have, so I would, and if you don't know what your rising and moon are, just stick with your sun sign, and then you can always look that up later. And this should be up on YouTube at some point too. So no worries. I enjoy watching and listening. Oh, cool. That means a lot. I'm grateful to hear that. I'm really grateful to hear that. But I'll be sure if I see your name, I'll try to get to you in one of the lives here. So let's dive in, guys. So fire signs, sun, moon, rising. We'll start with fire signs, and then we'll go to earth, air, and then water. So we'll keep it in order, and then there'll be a collective message at the end. So if you have a fire sign that is sun, moon, or rising, this is for you. And if you're watching this on YouTube later, it's timeless and for you when you see it. So let's dive in. I always look forward to your lives. Thank you. That means a lot. I'm grateful to hear that, for sure. Okay, sorry. So some of the first things that came through for the fire signs here, I feel like it's time to greet the new that's coming in. And I know that I just pulled some cards here for everyone that was hanging out. And there was a lot about like getting to the nectar of life here. But I feel like it's been a shedding phase, or you're coming out of a shedding phase. So you're getting ready to greet the new that the universe has been preparing you for or growing you for. And I also hear the words not yet. So it might not be coming in quite yet, but it will be here soon. So again, if you're watching this now during the live, probably autumn equinox. I keep getting as an important phase. Like I know there's a lot of eclipses, but I'd say like now through the winter, there's going to be some new things dropping in for you guys. So keep an eye out for that. I would also say the best is yet to come, and I love this message when it shows up. So because no matter how good things have been, there's still better ahead. And just if things have been rough or rocky, like hang in there. The universe does have good things in store for you. It might not be time for all the best yet. And like the other question is, I don't ever want to limit how good things can be or how long things can be good for, but it's what's the question here? Do you really want all the best all at once? And then you're like, oh, now what? But I want to also say you can constantly be creating the new. So even if the best yet does show up, who's to say there isn't a best yet that you can create after that that's even better, if that makes sense. Next point I have for you guys, so this is for fire signs, sun, moon, or rising. If you have a fire sign and a sun, moon, or rising placement, it's for you, for anyone new showing up, and we have just started. So starting again, I get new beginning. For some, it's starting over, and it's not quite back to the drawing board. It's almost like you have a framework, or it's like maybe you had a building and you started to build a building on a foundation. You still have the foundation, but you kind of have to scrap some of the floors and rebuild. I'd say it's okay. I feel like that's leading to bigger, better, and brighter, honestly. But I would definitely pay attention to new beginnings coming in. I think it's past time for some of you. And some of you are like, we're waiting, but it is coming, I would trust. And some of these are slow starts or things that it's like a snowball. It's really small once you start rolling it, but after a long time of rolling it, it's massive and it's just a gigantic thing rolling down the mountain at a certain point. So it's okay if it's slow, but trust that there is new approaching. And part of what you're seeing on the earth right now is like, things are new, like the energetics, just some of the systems coming into place. Like a lot of people feel the new being built, but it's like, maybe it's not all here yet, or it's still in like this, it's like, I see these sequences of like earths or the world. And it's like, you're on this new earth, but there's like a bigger one that we're still transitioning to, if that makes sense. So it's like these series of like bigger and brighter like worlds that we're kind of transitioning into. And like in some ways we're there, but in some ways for some people are not where they want to be yet. So keep that in mind. Like the world's not over and things aren't over yet. And again, new is on the way was my next point. These are all channel messages here, by the way, which is pretty much what I was just saying. I do also want to say, and I think I already said this, there has been a lot falling away. But at your core, like you are still you. This is a good thing. You haven't been destroyed. Like, and maybe you feel broken, and you know I can definitely empathize if you're in that place. But at your core, like your heart, who and what you truly are, you still have all of what makes you you, and you are upshifting. So a lot of what's been falling away isn't paramount to who you are or what you're becoming. And it's kind of like a snake shedding its skin or molting. The new and better has to come in that suits you better. So I do see a bit of an upshift, and I feel like it's going to be abrupt. It's almost like there's like this level, and you're beneath it, and at a certain point you kind of just upshoot through it, and you hit this new level. Or shattering a glass ceiling isn't quite right, but it's definitely a threshold where there's a difference. And there's no glass ceiling, is what they're saying regarding this analogy. I do feel like any inner work you want to do is going to pay off big time for you, fire signs. I feel like if you feel like you're being stretched, there's a good reason. Or now's a good time to stretch yourself as well. If you don't feel like the universe is stretching you, I really feel like the more you grow now, the less stressful some of the future is going to be. So that could be just getting in shape and exercising, and just kind of tackling all areas holistically, honestly, is what I'd say as advice. Any inner work is going to make the future like 10 times brighter. So I would definitely, if you haven't been doing any type of inner work or introspection, like it could be therapy, it could be, it doesn't have to be with me. It could be booking a reading with someone you feel called to book a reading with, or just learning something new. But any type of self-work is gonna pay off big time. I also want to say for you fire signs, if this has been something that's mulling through your mind, you're not average, and I would stop treating yourself like a normal person, especially if you're spiritual or if you're doing anything more spiritually inclined. Make sure that you take care generously of like the special and unique you. So in some ways, like for self-care, one size does not always fit all. Like for instance, like you do have to find what's yours, but especially if you're a spiritual person, you might have to go a bit deeper in like, what is the specific routine for me that will help me, and stop it. Or like, you know, some people will just go home from work and they flip on the TV and they drink a beer and that's their night. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're someone who's like more sensitive or who's not, like, stop treating yourself like a normal person if you're not a normal person. Does that make sense? Thanks, Deja. I appreciate the heck out of you. Next point I have here, don't hold on to anything right now. Remain loose and let the universe show you what's best. It's kind of like the visual they show me is one time when I was learning baseball and I was pitching, one thing my coach said was like, hold that sucker like an egg. And that's what I keep like seeing is it's like, it's almost like you don't really want to clench onto an egg because then it breaks. But it's like when you hold things loosely, you kind of allow things to shift and allow the universe to show you like what's right for you. It's pretty much the more you're allowing the universe to show you what's right and being like, okay, I have this loose idea of where I want to go. Universe, steer me in the right direction regarding that. It might surprise you or be a little bit roundabout the direction the universe takes you, especially if you're putting that intention out there where it's just kind of throwing your hands up and letting the universe take you where you need to go. But it's always better than you think roundabout is something I want to say as well. I would also, guys, make sure you're making wise choices with your diet. You know your body, so I'm going to trust you to make your choices for you. And also, I would not, at this time, push yourself beyond what you can handle. That was a bit of a common theme across all the signs, I felt, was not pushing yourself beyond what you can handle. And even for more of like the go-getter signs, I guess you want to say, or people who the message wasn't like, the message wasn't really take the foot off the gas, but it was like, you don't have to go crazy, pedal to the metal, like all the way down the highway. Like they're kind of showing me like Colorado driving. If anyone's familiar with Colorado driving in the mountains, when you're driving in the mountains, like you probably don't want to go crazy because like those guardrails aren't very thick. And it does feel a little, it's not treacherous, but it feels a bit treacherous when you're driving hectically down a Colorado highway in the mountains because it's just like this thin little guardrail and then like hundreds to thousands of foot drop, you know, off the side. But that's not the gist of the message. The gist of the message is like, I would like move forward and not like wait around or delay, but I would also not push yourself beyond what you can handle and keep a good barometer on where you're at energetically. Hey, happy to see you too, Miss Stace. Excuse me. The next point I have here is elevation. Life is conspiring you to get you to a higher plane of reality. That did come through a little bit earlier as well. I do feel like life is conspiring to get you to a higher plane of reality. So I think that's part of like the holding things loosely and not treating yourself like an average person. Honestly, I feel like the universe is trying to kind of like push you up above the clouds and like potentially confusion isn't the right word. That was a different sign, but out of any stuckness or like stagnancy, I do feel like the universe is looking to elevate you to like the next phase so you can start moving forward in a higher way, in a way that's more true to you, if that makes sense. Because there's been a lot of shedding of what isn't you, to reiterate that. And one of the last points here, enjoy life, don't beat yourself up. Let life unfold naturally and take it day by day. Your body, mind, and spirit are being washed clean to prepare you for new. That's from autumn to spring, by the way. If you're watching this live, so very soon to a few months out. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, this is timeless, by the way. So if you're watching on YouTube, very soon to a few months out from when you're watching it, but autumn to spring if you're watching this now. So that's kind of the gist, is like there's a lot of like washing clean, and they showed me when I was channeling these messages down, this visual of like pretty much a fire sign laying on the beach, and like the tide was kind of washing over them, and I feel like there was like there were like shells around as well, or a shell on the person that they showed me for the visual. And it's pretty much exactly what I've been pointing to in so many different ways with all these other messages. I feel like that sums it up pretty well, actually. I feel like it's been a bit of a cleanse, or it is a bit of a cleansing phase, but I don't feel like that's much longer. And they're showing me scarecrows, and they're talking about the harvest again, where I feel like there's just things coming in that help you elevate. So sorry to hit on that point over and over and over again. I shouldn't really apologize, but that slipped out of my mouth. So some of the other few advice points or things that came through as well. One, there's more coming than you ever dreamed. I think sometimes when we're in the ho-hum, or we're focused on the outside world, or it's kind of been same old, we don't always think about what's coming next or what's possible, or we don't always see how what's coming could be bigger than we dreamed. I just feel like there's so much more coming for you than you realize, for you, the fire signs here. I would also, some of the things that came through, set your soul aflame, do what makes you passionate. I get the word rekindle. If you feel like you need to rekindle passions, now's a good time to just start. And I would take baby steps towards it. Sometimes it's, I don't want to limit you, but sometimes it's difficult to just feel passionate out of the blue. But I would definitely try to incorporate what makes you passionate around this time, because I feel like can pull you out of any misery if you've been feeling miserable. Not all of you. I don't feel like all of you, but next point here, I would get your head out of the clouds. That goes back to that visual I was getting. It's time to ground your new ideas. I'd say that's more autumn time coming in here, which is very soon from this time. I do feel like there's a bit of a shift where it's more take action. And so maybe if you felt like a train, those steam trains, and you'd have the coal, were steam engines coal fueled? Yeah, they were. You kind of have to refill on coal or whatever. I feel like it's about time to leave the station. Not yet. As we said, there's still some cleansing. There's still some of those other things going on. But it is going to be time to kind of ground some of the ideas that have been floating around and really go for them. If you have been going at anything for a while, I would keep trucking with it, honestly. Because for those of you who don't feel like you're at a station waiting, I feel like you're almost to the next station, is what I'd say. I would also not play small. I think that goes back to that there's more coming than you ever dreamed. It can be tempting when you don't see the results at first, but it doesn't mean they aren't coming. I would definitely not play small. I do feel like, oh, hey, oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Sam I Am. Thanks for the gold mine. So sunshine ahead. I do feel like sunshine ahead is... I feel like sunshine is ahead for the fire signs here. I think winter is going to be more your time to shine. And I just had a train honk outside, so verification. Thanks, universe. I am getting winter, though, for sunshine ahead. It doesn't mean fall will be awful. It just means what I said. I also feel like you will be a different person in the future. I think that goes back to that message of being washed clean. It's the things that maybe you thought were you but weren't you are falling away, and it's you are upshifting and becoming more you. Because I feel like when I say be you, I mean more that who and what you truly are, your soul, source, incarnate. That's more who and what you are, consciousness. Pretty much undestructible, but I feel like you're being led into a deeper version of you and a more mature version of yourself as well, and a bit more grown. And that's what life has been walking you towards, whether it's been reluctant for you or not. Thanks for the rose. Yeah, so that's so the last point I have here, I would button up any loose ends. So now's a good time, if you have any, could even just be house projects or just any loose ends in your life, or anything that just you feel could be tied up and put an end to. Now's a good time to kind of get that settled. I think you're going to want plenty of space for some of the newness coming in, because that was kind of the theme, was it's time to greet the new that's coming in, which again, I think autumn and winter and maybe spring for some of you is when that's really dropping in, depending on where you're at. I'm going to pull a card for you fire signs, if you have a sun, moon, or rising fire sign, and then we'll get to the next sign here. So yeah, so this was at the top of the deck. Okay. 2 cards, 3, 20, 10,000. Okay, so we have Our Lady of Divine Direction. That goes back to that holding things loosely. I feel like feel like there's a bit of redirection in the future, but I think it's like very welcome because potentially you're feeling lost, but then like it's almost like if you're wandering and then there's like someone with a sign. I could just see angels with a sign like over here and it's pointing you towards this direction. And it might not seem ideal at first because in the visual they're showing me it's like there's these railroad, you know, those lights with the railroad guards, and it's like those are down, like you want to go across this path and it looks right, but the guards are down. I feel like if you start walking that direction anyways, they'll start to lift. So if that makes sense analogously to you in a situation in the future where it doesn't seem good, but like the second you start walking towards it, it opens up more. Keep that in mind. Just because it seems blocked doesn't mean it is. Random message for you guys. The other card that came out was Our Lady of Divine Presence. This is a great time to get centered. I would also say it's a good time for a review, but other than that, I would try to let go of worry and be as present as you can. I think I always will recommend a daily gratitude practice, but any type of practice where you're working with your presence, I feel like that's meditation. But if meditation doesn't work for you, yoga or even exercise is a good time. Like all you're doing is focusing on the now. Like you could be driving your car. Make sure you're doing it safely. I'm gonna leave it up to your judgment, but I know like you probably want to be present while driving anyways, but you can feel like, how do my hands feel on the steering wheel? How do I can feel gravity and how it has my body against the chair. How does the breath feel as I'm breathing it while I'm driving? It's just like you can be present pretty much while you're doing anything. But I would say some type of daily practice with presence would be helpful. And then Our Lady of Soul Birth also came out here. So what does this mean for you? Here's what I want to say. I feel like the more you're following your passions, this is what I'm hearing, the more you're going to see more ease and flow in your life. And that might seem, well, it's not really counterintuitive because that was an intuitive message, but it was a channeled message. But it might seem counterintuitive, but I feel like the more you're kind of lighting yourself up and lighting your own fire, the more like life conspires to bring you more of that. And so I would definitely like not hold back in pursuing passions in the near future here. I'm going to pull an angel card and then we'll move to the next signs here. Cherubim. Okay. Look to the stars, accept keys and codes of stellar wisdom. I do get the word upgrading with this. I feel like you guys are upgrading. I feel like that really goes into the elevation message that we talked about earlier as well. I do feel like you have a lot of angelic assistance around you, so I would not be afraid to ask for that. This card is very golden, and the words that come to me as well as I look at it are golden wisdom. And I also get the words coming into your own. So for the fire signs, if you have a fire sign, sun, moon, or rising, I feel like you're cultivating, I almost get like wisdom of the ages, kind of becoming wise beyond your years. And like, I feel like you're doing that so you can follow your purpose. So one way, shape, or form, I feel like that's coming in for you. I would also there's a lot of stars on this card. I would pay attention to the stars or the star tarot card as a sign. I feel like that would hold some important messages for you, but some potent messages as well. This card kind of popped out. I'm just gonna look at it really quickly because it reminds me of that gift who sent me the gold mine with like the coins falling. But in this card also there are coins falling out of this basket. I do want to say abundance is coming in for you guys. That's what they said, is abundance is coming in for you guys. So I would definitely keep hope. I feel like that's it for the fire signs for right now. So there are more signs coming. We're doing, so fire, earth is next. We're doing the earth signs next. But I hope that sees you well, fire signs. I hope you are doing well. I would definitely try to stay grounded in these ostensibly crazy times. I feel like anywhere you can feed yourself with positivity, the better. I think that came through for the air signs as well. But let's move on to the earth signs. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising, that's an earth sign. This is for you. I have a bunch of channel messages, and we'll go through them. Thanks for the fire. IXOXOK. Oof. Thank you for the confetti, Sam. I appreciate it. So we'll go through these messages, and of course, I'll jump into any other messages I'm getting as well while we're going through it, and then I'll pull cards at the end, and then we'll move to air signs, and then water. So, earth signs. If you have a sun, moon, or rising that is an earth sign, let us jump in. I feel like you guys, this is pretty similar to some of like what's coming in with the fire signs, because the title I kind of got was like gear up for new adventures. I do see like new goals as well, and starting fresh maybe. Some of you, I think it's kind of like you've gone pretty far, but you want to go further. That's coming. I think some of the avenues and pathways to allow you to go further, or in directions you've really been wanting to go, are coming in as something up. I also, first thing that came through beyond that was surfs up, party ahead. I don't know why surfs up came in, but if maybe if you're out by the water and you want to surf, maybe that's recommended. But I feel like you guys might have some parties or celebrations or gatherings coming up soon, which seems a bit mundane, but if that came through, it came through. So don't be afraid to party, and don't be afraid to let loose. I feel like you guys need fun, actually, something that's coming through as well. Tubular. Hey, how's it going, little child? Next point here, I would, so spread your wings. Don't stay in bird cages that don't suit you, or any bird cages. And they kind of showed me this image of a bird in a cage, but the door is open. So I'd really not feel stuck. I feel like it's actually better than Eight of Swords energy if you're familiar with tarot. It's kind of just, I feel like you're going to realize you don't have to be where you are. I think you have more freedom than you realize, and that's something that's coming in, is that realization. Excuse me. So I feel like in some ways it's very encouraged for you to spread your wings and either not stay in one place or not get tied down right now. That doesn't mean break up with your partner if you feel like things are good. By the way, that just means anywhere you feel stuck, I don't feel like you are, and I feel like things are actually loosening up for you to be able to fly in a new direction, or goals that you've had for a long time that you haven't been able to attain yet. That's what I'm hearing. I also feel, I also wrote down, what channeled through, meant for better, dream bigger than where you are at. I think something similar came through for the fire signs, but I would definitely just realize, like, just because you're at a certain level doesn't mean you're stuck at that level. I actually feel like you're definitely meant for a lot more than you think or realize. I'm sure you've had an inkling or people have said it, but sometimes, again, when you don't see the results, you can question that. I would not question that. I would ask for like the absolute utmost when you're manifesting with the universe, and go for what you actually want. Don't be afraid if that's big or small, but I would definitely encourage you to dream big. I would also not procrastinate for the earth signs here. I would take action on your dreams. So that is literally what was written down here, is stop procrastinating, take action on your dreams. I feel like that's important. I feel like there's I get the word hesitation. For some of you, you might think or have an emotion that you're not good enough, but you actually are. And the best way to prove that to yourself is to take action. And I feel like the learning curve is small. I feel like sometimes things seem more intimidating than they are, and it's almost like the visual they're showing me is like, sometimes when you see a picture of a hill or when you're driving up to a big hill, from a distance it looks really steep. It almost looks like you're driving at a wall. But once you get up next to it, you're like, oh, actually that's more like that's a very manageable angle. It just looked like a wall from, 20 football fields away. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is a lot of the learning curves aren't as big as you think you are, or won't be that bad, as something I'm hearing. So it maybe, Brandon, you can't just low-key tell me to do my college homework. I mean, if that's what you got to do. The next point was, I don't know if moose has been popping up on your news feeds here, but moose might be a spirit animal to look into. One of the messages was be fierce, but don't be an a-hole, essentially. I would say you are kind and don't lose that. I would definitely walk the bigger road or take the higher path. But it's almost like this ferocity where it's like maybe fiercely competitive, but really kind. So maybe if you're, I don't know, they're showing me table tennis. So if you're playing like ping pong or table tennis, maybe you're really intense, but the second someone like gets hurt, I don't know if you'd really get hurt playing table tennis. You're the first one there to like make sure everything's okay. Does that make sense? So I would be like on your game, but very kind as well. Also, compassion coming through. Definitely self-compassion, guys. Don't be hard on yourself. There's a lot going on in the world, and many of you are sensitive. So it's very easy to potentially pick up on things going on, and you're like, what is this? It's probably not you. But either way, no matter what you're going through, I would definitely like, they're showing me like nursing wounds. So nurse any inner wounds you have and have self-compassion. The message, I think this came through with, this has been coming through a lot, so I don't know when I said this, but they're saying like you're not as broken as you think. And sometimes you're just like one small, tiny, and a good kind of tweak, like a good little adjustment away from everything running at full capacity. So you might just be like, it's a Tony Robbins quote, and I don't know if my guys really want me to say it because they were showing it to me to help me get the message across, but it's, I'll say it really quickly in case it resonates for you. But he said something about like he was golfing and like his golf swing was like not working, but he like just turned the rod like a millimeter or adjusted his grip by like a millimeter and everything was perfect. And he was like, his quote was like, sometimes you're just a millimeter away from everything working perfectly. And so keep that in mind. Like I feel like there's just like some small, if you feel like there's an adjustment that needs to be made, there's a small adjustment you can make that makes everything run smoothly. And it might have to do with your daily routine, honestly, or just a way you're showing up for yourself. It could be very simple, but I feel like it'll make a lot of sense if you do find something like that. So I would take a quick examination and see if anything jumps out at you that a small adjustment would make things better. I also get for the earth signs, like confusion is clearing up. So what was written down here, confusion is clearing up, ground your visions. An ounce of action is better than a day of nothing. The universe will show you the way once you get going. That's so pretty much, that came through for fire signs too, didn't it? Grounding your new ideas. Yeah. I really feel like sometimes, even if one thing that there's a channeler, Lee Harris, and I'll listen to his stuff, great channeling. But one thing he said that I liked was like sometimes even like that ounce of action, like if you have a manifestation, like what's one small thing you can do to get the energies moving? And it could be as simple as, okay, I'm going to write this manifestation on a note card and put it on my wall so I see it every day. That is one small action you can take to get it going. So that's one thing that like, it's just like, what is that ounce of action that will get you going? Because usually like once you get started on something, you're more than likely going to keep working on it. And it just feels it feels more like you got something done, even if it was just an ounce. So you'll kind of just feel a bit happier because you did something. Does that make sense? Next point, I would definitely trust there is a lot releasing. So keep coming back to you and grounding or doing as much self-care as you can. So don't stop. So the message is kind of like, so let me see what this visual is taking me. They're showing me like a trickle of water. I feel like it's kind of like this message of like, if you just stop where you're at, there's always just going to be a trickle of water. But if you keep like digging or if you keep working, you can turn that trickle of water into a flood of water. And that water could represent anything from abundance to prosperity to feeling good energies. I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like self-care, recentering, rebalancing, very important. Multiple times a day even, but whatever you do, don't stop. I would definitely keep momentum going or like get momentum going and not lay around if you can help it. Also, next point is you can, which is more like a don't doubt yourself kind of message. You can. There's more for you than you've ever seen before. Life is not over. So that was a similar message of the fire signs. Some of you, I guess multiple of you needed to hear that. Multiple of you needed to hear that. It's pretty much the message like if you think you can't, you can, and it's more like believing that you can was the message. So I would try to flip the script. If you feel like you're having a lot of doubts, I would actually write down like and like journal like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. Something to get the thoughts moving in the other direction. Because I feel like it's more mental and maybe a bit more emotional, and maybe some body work or healing would help shift those frequencies as well. But it's more just realizing you can do this. Next point, joy. I would definitely build your joy muscle. They keep having these messages. Like I'm kind of seeing a bigger picture between all the messages as I'm channeling here, which is like, I think for the earth signs, like I would definitely not clown around. I think it's okay to take some time and to rejuvenate, and do what you need to do. But like, I wouldn't clown around or goof off too much. I do feel like it's a good time to get serious. I feel like it's like, again, like that message, like you have more for you ahead than you realize. I feel like getting serious and taking action is putting on your game face is going to be helpful. And I do feel like joy is coming too. But when I say build your joy muscle, it's more like having a joy practice, much like gratitude practices can bring gratitude, a joy practice can bring joy. So intentionally putting yourself into a space of joy and doing something that brings you joy, you might want to consider doing that on the daily or on the regular. I also get this energy of limbo that came through for the earth signs here. So limbo, face yourself, you are rising. Limbo is temporary. The universe is tipping the scales to get you where you need to go. So it's kind of like, I feel like if you feel like you're in limbo, you won't be. Or if you feel like there's just like, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, and you just feel like there's any type of stagnation, I actually feel like you're not stagnant. I get the message you're not stagnant, most of you, but the limbo won't last. And it's kind of like, here's the visual I get. You know when you have a fish tank and you have to clean the fish tank, you kind of have to take the fish and put it in a different container, and then the universe cleans out the fish tank, or maybe there's an all new fish tank coming in. And then it's like you're in this little limbo cup and then you get put back into the tank once everything's ready. So it's more like that. It's not exactly it, because I don't feel like you're just getting your tank cleaned. I feel like it's actually like in between worlds, if anything else. But it's more like you're in that limbo stage where you're just like, what's happening? And the universe is like, shh, it's a surprise. And you're like, but I want to know. And the universe is like, well, it's coming. You're going to know when it happens. So you'll be fine, honestly. Weird message, I would also not stay in limbo within yourself. Like if it's about a person or like a situation, I feel like any choice is the right choice, oddly enough. And I think like you'll always get redirected if it's the wrong choice. Or you'll learn a lesson that prepares you for a similar situation down the road. That's kind of it, is like, I feel like you're making the right choices is another message coming through. Some of the last few messages coming through are bits of advice for earth signs. If you have an earth sign that's a sun, moon, rising. Oh, no worries, Jasia. Yeah, in and out, do what you got to do regarding all that. Anyway, some of the messages here for earth signs, sun, moon, rising, stop doubting yourself. I think that came through with like the believe in yourself. I feel like you're more than capable of doing, one, what you came here to do if you feel like you have a soul mission. Two, just about anything you put your mind to. And it might take some grit or digging your heels in or pushing through certain things where you might want to stop and give up. I would not give up. I think that's a very strong message, is to not give up at this time. I feel like you're closer than you realize to certain thresholds that once you get through, the journey kind of gets easier. And so I would really push through at this time if you're feeling stressed or anything like that, or feel under duress. And definitely don't doubt yourself. It's like the message they're giving me right now is it's easier to stop doubting if you keep going, if that makes sense. Definitely needed to hear this. Awesome. I'm glad it got to you. Next point, keep in control of your mind to rewire if needed. So this is an interesting one. I would definitely like, they want me to tell you what I do. So like the mind is an interesting thing, pretty much. And so like when you have thoughts that seem like they're all over the place, and like what I do is a bit particular, but I found it's been working at least for the past, it's most of this year, honestly. Sometimes like if you just have a thought and you're like, where is this coming from? And like I'm very familiar with my process where I can tell if a thought's not my own, or if I'm just picking up on something else, or if it's a thought that's just more psychically related to something upcoming if it's just out of nowhere. But if you have any like negative thoughts or like doubting thoughts, like just try to flip it and just like actually manifest the opposite. So if it's like, what would be an example? Can you give me one, guys? Maybe if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can write. Can I write? Oh my gosh. You could flip it and be like, okay, angels, please remove any of those thoughts or energies where I can't write. I demand to write in the highest and best ways for me to write. I demand to be able to write in the highest and best ways. I demand to be able to write in the highest and best ways. Thank you so much. So it's like when you have a thought that's negative, like manifest the opposite. And that way you kind of get the energy flipped and moving in a way that you want it to. That could be something that helps you kind of like be a bit more in control. And it's like maybe you can completely mitigate things regarding all that, but even just trying to kind of control your mind can yield some pretty good results instead of just letting it run rampant. So even if you don't feel like you're getting all the way, just trying can help a lot. As far as rewiring, that's an interesting process. One thing you can look into is like there's neuro-linguistic programming. I haven't delved super deep into it, honestly. Or I guess there's subliminals on YouTube. Also, I haven't delved super deep on that, but you can think about it. Or just affirmations, or like gratitude practice, like what I was just talking about. That can actually rewire and retrain you to start looking at things that you're grateful for. And so that is a form of rewiring, you could say. Also, one thing I used to do would be energy work or like Reiki. And I would film me doing Reiki for myself, and then I'd watch my Reiki videos pretty much. And I would do some where I'd ask Reiki to rewire my brain in the highest and best ways for it to do so. So in some ways you can do energy work to help or ask the angels to help you rewire your brain in the highest and best ways. And it's weird because you'll feel the energies and you'll feel things like shifting and you're like, oh, that's weird. But it's a tool you potentially, if you feel like you're at that point where you're good enough with energy work to try that, you could try that. That might not be for everyone. I don't know if that tidbit was for everybody. Next point here, good to see you, Destiny. How's it going? Next point here is manifestation uprising. If you've been waiting for manifestations, they are coming. They just want me to say that for you guys. I would don't wait. I would say don't wait for people right now. I would live now. So if you feel like you're waiting on like people or like romance or something like that, don't wait forever. Or if you do choose to be like, yeah, I really want to be with this person, so I'll hold off on romance with anyone else. At least live your life to the fullest right now beyond all that. It's just don't put your life on hold for anyone is what I'd say. Next point here is there's a lot coming, abundance, love, joy, but a lot. So I just feel like it's similar to the earth, to the fire signs, but I feel like it's a little bit different, the energy behind it. I just feel like a lot of change, a lot of transition, and it's like once you kind of get out of that limbo we were talking about, it's like an avalanche. And it's like really good things, but it's a lot at once and a lot to take in is something I'm getting. So keep an eye out for just like a lot coming in here. I do feel like that for those watching live right now, wintertime could be when that comes in. And so let's see. I would give it at least a few months if you're watching the YouTube replay. And again, these are timeless for you when you see them. Last point I have for you, off-grid, refresh you won't lose. So if you feel like you need to go off-grid, like for a week and just like disappear, I don't feel like you'll actually lose anything. It's kind of, I don't know if you want to say it's like, I was thinking of a video game and they're showing me like Pokemon, like you could save a Pokemon game and then just not pick it up for like a month and then you come back and it's right where you left off. I wouldn't necessarily disappear for a month unless you really feel called to do that. But if you disappear for a week or like a weekend or a few days to recharge, I don't feel like you'll like miss out on anything or lose any progress really. And you go with your gut on how you feel about that, but I feel like that might be a good idea is like definitely don't like clown around or don't goof off is something the advice I'm getting, like don't procrastinate. But if you feel like you need to refresh or recharge, like I would go all in on that, honestly. So I'm going to pull a few cards, for the earth signs. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising that's an earth sign, then we'll move to the air signs after that. Okay. Archangel Christine, interesting. Accept the Christ light, act with wisdom and loving compassion. That goes back to the self-compassion message that came through. They're looking at this. This looks like a crystal ball here, and they're giving me the word foresight, and they're saying gift of foresight. So what does that mean? I feel like earth signs, your intuition is rising, honestly. And they're also giving me this message of like, hey, you have wings, use them. So what does that mean? I feel like if you feel stuck, or if you feel like that bird in a cage, and again, going back to that analogy, it's like if you feel like a bird in a cage, the door is wide open and you can just spread your wings and fly. I would work with all your tools, like the manifesting, the energy work, whatever you have at your in your toolkit. You have the tools to create your reality, to make change, to be more you, to do what you need to do. I feel like you have all along. So try not to forget that you have those tools, by the way. I feel like a lot of you earth signs are healed, honestly, or ready to do work for others. If you feel called to any healing work for others, I would just take this as a sign to do that, or to start walking that way. I feel like a lot of you are meant to be healers in some way, shape, or form, but Archangel Raphael is popping out here. That's why I say that. So also definitely divinely protected, and you have a lot of, the angels definitely, I feel like the angels are rushing, maybe they're rushing you, ushering you in certain directions. And like the visual I get is like water trickling through the ground. And like water, like when you watch water, like either on the driveway or just through the, like going down a path on the earth. And I'm not talking about a river, I'm talking about more of a trickle, like from a garden hose or something. Sometimes it really moves in particular patterns, or it's like it's very ushered in the right direction. I really feel like you're going to be blocked where you're not supposed to go, like that water, but the water, when it's blocked, goes where it is supposed to go quite inherently, so keep that in mind. They want me to pull a tarot card. What's at the bottom? We have the Empress at the bottom of the deck, which is fantastic. This is either where you're at or where you're going for you earth signs, as something that's coming in. I also feel like the Seven of Wands popped out. You're really right on the money with a lot of what you think as well. But I would also be patient with other people right now, as something else is coming through as a message. Definitely be patient with other people, because they're either getting there or they haven't seen what you've seen yet. I would also not back down from any challenges or people. That's something that's coming through as well. I feel like you have the goods and you know better, is something I'm hearing. Okay, Wheel of Fortune popping out as well. Fantastic. I feel like luck is rising. And if you feel like your luck has been wobbly or inconsistent, I'm really seeing it being more stable. So instead of being like topsy-turvy, like they're showing me like a top that's wobbling, but then they showed it more morphing into like a cube, which is a solid shape. So I'd say like your luck is transforming to be more like consistent and solid and there for you. And it won't feel unreliable, if that makes sense. But I also feel like you're moving towards your destiny, or your destiny is calling. I also don't feel like, one message they're kind of showing me that I'm also opening to the Ten of Cups here. So this is a lot of good positive omens here. I would pretty much like stick it out until your fortunes come in, earth signs. Because I was also getting you won't be left out in the cold. King of Pentacles, card of stability. They're also giving me the word entrepreneur. If you've been thinking about building a business, I would also build a business. Okay, sorry, they want me to pull. I'm not going to apologize, but so I literally here's a lot of the times I'll just pick up the deck and whatever card I pick up to. I did just pick up Our Lady of Soul Birth again, which was there for the fire signs. And so what is the message for earth signs before we move on here to air signs? I actually feel like your soul is expanding and coming in more strongly than ever before. So I feel like you're going to have more of a soul-led existence or practice coming in here. I feel like part of this limbo that I've been talking about is waiting for that to transpire. if that helps to put some of the puzzle pieces together. So I feel like in some ways, like you're being opened for your soul to come in more strongly than ever before, where you're more like soul led and soul based, and following your higher guidance even more. That's it for the earth signs. We're going to move on to air signs. I hope those messages saw you guys well and made sense. These cards are right on the money. Oh, yes. How's it going, Amanda Nicole? I'm just going to stretch here. Oh, dear. 88 views. Yep. Abundance. Thank you. Def makes me feel better. Yeah, absolutely. Like those limbo periods, or like that stress isn't forever. I do feel like the world's going to be interesting for the next few, they're saying weeks, potentially the next while. But that doesn't mean your world has to be upside down, is something they're saying as well. That's just in general for anyone who needs to hear that. Okay, air signs. So if you are, and you're welcome, Destiny Adara. So if you are an air sign, you're welcome, Chrissy Queen. So we have air signs, and then we have water signs, and we have collective messages, and then we'll see what happens next, where my guys want me to go from there. So if you are an air sign, sun, moon, or rising, these are for you. We'll just go through the messages I channeled through on this notebook, and my guides will also be guiding me through it and kind of expanding on the messages, or bringing in entirely new and more messages while I go. So let's see here. Gemini rising, hey, how's it going? Cool. The first thing that really came in was like breathe in, breathe out, relax. I feel like you air signs have been going hard, or you might feel like you've been going hard, because the next point here I have is you've done a lot of work. I would keep going, but also don't overdo it. I know I had a similar message earlier for the earth signs, I think, but results are coming for a lot of your hard work. So I would definitely, like, they're kind of showing like digging. I would keep digging, like if you're, for instance, digging a hole, if that represents work analogously for you. I'm not saying you're literally out digging holes, but you know. So that was another one of those messages where it's like, I would keep going at a good pace, but and I feel like you guys have a pretty high endurance level, but don't overdo it if you can help it. Now's a great time to get zen. If you can put anything into your world that helps you relax, like if it's a float tank session, or a massage therapy session, or yoga or Reiki, whatever helps you, like puts you more in the moments and more zen, I would try to do that more, because I think that will serve you and allow you to do more work, actually, not less. So keep that in mind. Next point I have for you is breeze. Life is becoming a breeze, more ease coming. I'm not saying life is easy right now for all of you, but I feel like it is, or has the potential to become easier. I think it's like, the more you flow, the less you're going to force things. The more life is just a bit of a breeze. And sometimes if you just do things instead of thinking about it, it's just, you kind of take care of things, and like there are less obstacles ostensibly. So what do I mean? Like maybe you have to do the dishes. If you just do the dishes instead of thinking like, oh, I have to do the dishes. Oh, I don't want to do the dishes. I'd rather watch TV. And then you leave the dishes, and then it's been 10 minutes. You're like, oh, I don't want to do. It's like if you just did it and it would be done by that point that you were still thinking about not doing the dishes, then you don't even have to think about it. So it's more just like, I would take life head on. But I feel like it's just becoming easier to do that. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with that show that used to be on called, it was like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but they keep giving me visuals of like, it's like you're like riding on this like ball of air through life. So it's kind of just like things are easier for you. I don't know how to explain it, but hopefully that makes sense to you in your circumstances. I would also say enjoy what you have. More will come, but for now, enjoy your life. So it's kind of just that message of being grateful for what you have, want what you have. I feel like there's plenty to enjoy in your life, hopefully. But I would just take a second to sit with what you have and be like, yeah, I'm glad I have all this stuff, and just kind of enjoy it. I feel like there's plenty to make the most out of your life with what you have now, is what I'm saying. So don't stop working for more, but definitely take time to appreciate what's around you already. There is more inbound, but I feel like appreciation is important. Next point I have here, don't get wrapped up in others' drama. You have to stay clear. So pretty much, I would definitely not dive headlong into the drama train with your friends. I would perhaps like listen, and if things are just sounding a little fishy, take it with a grain of salt. But you don't always have to throw, like if you're intuitively getting messages and channeling and stuff, that makes sense. I get that. You're gonna want to provide the messages you get. But I would try to not unnecessarily throw any more garbage into the drama, if that makes sense. Like there's no need to put, it's kind of like save your 2 cents, if that makes sense. If it just seems like a discussion that doesn't mean much. I would definitely just try to stay clear of others' junk or drama or stuff. You definitely, you could be a mediator or someone who keeps the peace, but maybe not someone who gets involved where you're sifting through garbage with people when no one has to be sifting through garbage in the first place. Does that make sense? Next point I have for you guys, positivity works wonders. Put positive things on. I would try to not have the news on, air signs. So I would say stay positive the best you can. I feel like that's, it'll just weigh less on you if you're not dealing with copious amounts of negativity in your thoughts or in your energy fields. I feel like the more you're staying positive and hopeful, I think things are just going to be easier and breezier for you. Also, try not to get wrapped up in the news. I think it's just not going to help, is what I'm getting. Next point I have for you, joy. Again, this came through for the earth signs. I would definitely cultivate joy. I want to say life doesn't have to be stagnant. It goes also back to enjoying what you have now. I think that's tied in with that message as well. I feel like joy will serve you well. And I feel like it's been a while for some of you since you've like really been in the clutches of joy, which sounds more ominous than it is. I'd say, what's the message? I feel like the more you're bringing joy in for you and like really seeking out that joy and staying positive and happy, things just like work out more easily. I think that will actually remove certain like walls, or maybe I don't know if blockages is the right word. But I feel like that will actually open doors for you. I don't know how to describe that, but that's what I'm hearing. Is like joy is going to open doors for you. I would also make sure you're filling your cup. If you feel your cup is empty, here's the message. Here's what I have channeled down. Fill your cup. If your cup is empty, if your gas tank reaches empty, you won't like it. Life won't be as much as it can be if your cup isn't nourished. Daily cup filling is pretty necessary or very helpful at this time. So definitely gauge your cup at this time. Sometimes you hit these phases where you just push through and push through and push through and push through and push through, and you kind of just don't realize you're dry, you're parched, because you're just trying, either you're really focused on something like a goal, or you're just like, I don't have time, I have to push through. But I would take like 2 seconds to nourish yourself and just make sure, it's more your emotional world, I want to say, is filled and fulfilled. For some reason, like life just won't be, it's exactly what was written down, as much as it can be if you're not filling yourself up. So I would try not to let others drain you. I would try not to feed into drama if that's draining. But fill your cup with joy if you can. Some type of daily thing that fills your cup, and if you're not sure how to go about that, setting the intention to do it works wonders. Or like, universe, what's the highest and best ways for my cup to be filled? Please show me, please walk me into that. And if you're not sure how to set that intention, even just doing things that are about filling your cup. Like, I don't care if you find a yoga on YouTube or a yoga video that's like yoga for filling your cup. And like, that's your way of setting the intention that your cup is filled. Because it's like, energetically, when you start setting that intention and moving the energies to fill your cup, the physical things will manifest, or you'll feel nudged or guided or drawn towards what will fill your cup. So if you're ever not sure about how to do some of these things, just ask for it. It will manifest. I would also take some time for self-focus, air signs, if you're a sun, moon, or rising. So any type of self-focus, go within. Being withdrawn is okay right now. I feel like if you take time for like self-focus, I feel like you will emerge like that painting. I think it's Venus. You know that painting with that woman in that big seashell. I don't remember who painted it or why, but there's this woman with red hair and she's standing in a giant seashell. And I think it's Venus, could be wrong. Maybe it's Aphrodite, and I'm totally just mixing everything up regarding the goddesses there. I don't think I am. But taking time for being withdrawn, going within, self-focus, even if it's navel-gazing, remember that breathe in, breathe out, zen, relax. You're going to emerge better than ever, or victorious, or just gloriously, is what I'd say. Aphrodite equals Venus. Perfect. Thanks, Claire O'Connor. Birth of Venus. That's it. Next point. You are meant to prosper. So if you feel down on your luck with money, you are actually meant to prosper, so have hope. I feel like a lot of you, or at least some of you, are meant for big things, so keep that in mind. I feel like it was the air signs for another reading I did for one of these lives where it was like, you're going to be a star or stardom. So I don't know why the dots connected there for me there, but if you need to rehear that, there's that. I would also, and it doesn't mean if you don't have an air placement, you're not meant for big things, if you feel like you're meant for big things, by the way, but for those of you who need to hear it, that has an air sign, there you go. I would also, again, going back to that self-focus, self-care, self-love, self-focus, very important, filling your cup. Just don't run yourself dry. And they keep giving me the words like running yourself dry, and like they're showing like people like not drinking water, and they're showing like gas tanks hitting empty. It's really just like even the bare minimum of self-care will suffice. Just do it is pretty much it. And also like life at ease, take a breather. I think it doesn't mean don't keep going, but throughout your day, and I think I've been channeled to give this advice a lot, and just moments to take a breath are going to be important. For some reason, they keep showing me navel gazing, like meditating. I would actually do that. I think I don't know if navel gazing is like derogatory. I don't think derogatory is not the right word at all. I don't know if that's usually made to like make something that's said to make fun of people who meditate a lot, but for some reason, I feel like that's actually a good idea for you guys for at least a little while here. So some of the last few pieces of advice, and then I'll pull some cards for you guys. You gotta drink more water. Yeah, me too, actually. I'll do that after the air signs. Enjoyment is key, so just make sure you're enjoying yourself. I would also keep trucking, but don't be crazy about it. That goes back to the earlier point. Presence. I think that goes back to the navel gazing. If I'm going to connect the dots here, definitely being present. Thank you for the hand hearts, Michelle. I appreciate that. Cultivating presence right now. If you felt a bit scattered, do your best to rein it in and just try to be present. I think that's important right now for a lot of people, actually. I do feel like the universe is going to be putting more of a skip in your step. I don't know how it's going to be different for each of you, but universe is putting more of a skip in your step is something that's coming in. I think that's like certain things working out, certain things you're happy about. I think the universe is really conspiring to get you ahead, honestly. And whether that's, however that adds fuel, whether that's making you happy, if you need a bit of a push, if you need a bit of competition, I feel like the universe is bringing in those things to get you ahead, and I think that's what you want, honestly, is to get ahead, so keep that in mind. I would also, side note, don't force yourself to do anything. That has been coming through for, I think, all the signs thus far. Try not to, like, force yourself, especially if something isn't working, because they're almost showing me those examples of, like, when you're trying to build something or like work on a car or something and like the pieces don't fit and you try to force it and you try to force it and you try to force it, usually doesn't work out and you might end up breaking something. I'm not saying you're going to break yourself if you force yourself to do anything. It's just like now is more of a time of letting it flow and less of a time of force. But I feel like flowing will lead to a greater impact and force, if that makes sense. Than forcing things. So hopefully that all makes sense there. I would also try to de-stress yourself, air signs. I think that comes in with the relaxed message. Don't go too hard. I think there are better times ahead, but I'd say like treat things more like a marathon and less like a sprint, and I think you'll see a lot of success. Because some people try to sprint ahead like in life, like in business. And then they get tired out and then they burn out and they're like, and then they take like 12 months and then they're like, what happened to my life? So treat it like a marathon, and I think you'll take the appropriate pace. And it's like, what happens to an aircraft if they don't refuel? Like they have the big planes that refuel the jets. The plane crashes. So you got to refuel is something they're really talking about here. So I'm going to pull some cards. Okay. So air signs, I feel like this is what you're letting go of. I feel like this is either recent past or in the past. First, Three of Swords was the first card out. And they said, this is what you're letting go of. It won't be like this forever. I would definitely, this might be part of why the self-care message is coming through. Definitely take time for self-healing, self-care. And I feel like that navel gazing that I kept talking about is actually healing. I do feel like you're going to be okay though. We have King of Wands. I feel like there's a little lizard. Sorry, I just noticed this little lizard on the card. So I would pay attention to lizard, spirit, animal as well, or lizards as a sign. I feel like that's a good omen. I feel like you have people coming in around you that are passionate or that drive you. I feel like that's kind of what this King of Wands represents. And I also see something about a passionate new beginning. I feel like that's love for those of you who are looking for love. That's not for all of you, probably, if you've been in a relationship. But they are kind of just saying life does get better. I think there's this interesting visual they're showing me of the universe cloaking you in flames so no one can hurt you. It's not a bad thing. It's just this message of only those who are worthy can pass. It's a very interesting visual. But they're trying to pretty much just say I feel like you're protected from further harm. I feel like only those who are worthy of you will be in your presence long term is something I'm getting. I would also not self-destruct for Claire Connor. I will answer that in a second, Claire O'Connor. What are my big three? Try not to self-destruct, I think, and try not to drive yourself crazy. But what is this about? If you're striving for something, I think this is part of what that relaxed message is about as well. Don't drive yourself crazy trying to get there. I feel like the flow of life is already getting you there. Treat it like a marathon, not a sprint. But if what you want isn't showing up right away, because they're showing foaming at the mouth and stuff, I'm like, what is going on? But if what you want isn't showing up right away, I think it's just a quick test of patience. I feel like in a lot of ways, if you feel like you aren't making progress or as much as you want, you're actually going faster than you think you are. You just don't see it yet because you're I feel like you're trying to make up for that Three of Swords is pretty much or that heartbreak is what I'm getting. And Three of Swords, by the way, if you're not familiar with tarot, it's definitely about heartbreak, pain, and sometimes I pull a card and just assume everyone knows what it means, but I feel like Three of Swords is a pretty commonly known card. I would also walk away from the past air signs. That's something that's and also if people are sleeping on you, because they're showing this moon, it's almost like a sleep here. If people are sleeping on you, let them. I think they'll be surprised by your progress, whether that's business or in health or whatever you're trying to build. If people are sleeping on you, let them. They'll come around and once you're there, if that makes sense. They want me to show you the Ace of Cups here that was sticking up here and saying there is hope. But they are also giving the message of rest, which is, I think that goes back to filling your cup. So make sure you're getting enough rest. And try not to be too logical is something that's coming through with this King of Swords as well. That's a message they're getting. Try not to be too logical. I would let life intervene and try not to be too guarded. If you feel like that's been an issue, depending on who you are, I feel like if there's a choice coming up, you're going to make the right one as well. That's also something coming through. They want me to pull an angel card, and then we'll move on to the water signs. Okay, so it goes back to healing as well. Archangel Raphael popping up here. I feel like Archangel Muriel, a lot of you are psychic or are intuitive or are coming into that. I would definitely trust what you're feeling. or what you're picking up on. I think you're more accurate than you realize is something they're saying. I do feel like, okay, see with enlightened eyes, open to abundance. Abundance is coming as well for you guys. The message they're giving me as well, really quickly here for the air signs, is that there's going to be a dip, and so you might be like going, and then there's just like things get like a little bit worse, or it's like, oh, that's not what I wanted. It's just a dip that leads you to better, and you're actually going to be higher up and better than ever on the other side of it. Ooh, excuse me. So I wouldn't worry about that if there's like a temporary dip in finances or in your situation or yada yada. Just keep that in mind. Archangel Amethyst, purify your life with love, prepare for something better. Exactly, prepare for something better. So anything else? I would also make sure you're connecting in with Source. That's going back to the navel gazing and the meditation as well. I feel like it's high time you get connected is something I'm hearing. But I feel like you will be okay. And one more card that they want me to pull. Our Lady of the Sacred Hearth. I'm seeing like there's miracles here. So I would ask for miracles. I would also say there's like a threshold coming up where your life is completely different on the other side. I would not hesitate to either jump or go through that if you feel like some type of gateway presents itself, which could be a new job, moving, anything like that. I think it would be a good idea to jump through any such thresholds that present themselves. Okay, so next we are moving on to water signs. Thank you so much to the air signs, sun, moon, and rising. So someone asked, what are my big three? And get ready, guys. I am a Virgo sun, Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon. I actually feel like those balance out really well. I love how they actually play out. I've really liked that. So that's what I get. You knew Virgo. Yeah. First Priestess, hey, how's it going? Scorpio rising, yes. Oh yeah. Scorpio moon, heck yeah. Scorpio rising twinsies, heck yeah. Virgo and Scorpio, dang. Do you have those placements too, Tiny Heathen? That resonated with me even though I'm a Virgo. Hey, I wonder if you have an air placement. Cancer sun, Scorpio rising. Dang, Destiny. What am I getting? What's your moon? I wonder if it's fire. Yeah, Destiny, I feel like you have a good flow to you. That's interesting. I feel like those energies work really well with the Cancer sun, Scorpio rising. Your partner's a Scorpio moon? Heck yeah. Virgo moon? Heck yeah. Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon too? No way. That's awesome. Happy birthday, happy Virgo season. When is your birthday? September 1st, so it's coming up soon. I'm Scorpio. Hey, what's up? Scorp sun gang. I like Scorpios. Libra sun, Scorpio moon. Oh, what? Laura Trejo. That sounds cool. You're interesting. I feel like you're interesting. Thank you, guys. Oh, you both literally said happy early birthday at the same time. Your birthday September 1st too? That's kind of wild, actually. Happy birthday. That's weird. In a good way. Scorpio sun, Taurus moon, Gemini rising. Scorpio sun. Oh, heck yeah. Ooh, that's interesting. You're intense, Isabel. I feel like you're intense. Thank you. Thank you, Dwight. It is a great day for a birthday. Thank you, guys. Scorpio sun, Aries moon, Libra rising. That makes a lot of sense for you, Prince Priestess. I could totally see all that. Okay. Thank you so much, Wonderlands. Both first. Heck yeah. This is fun. This is just fun talking about our science right here. Wait, what do you think of mine? Deja, what's yours? Did I miss yours? Yeah. Scorpio sun, Sag moon, Libra rising. Ooh. Astrology signs are fun. Is it terrible that I only know I'm a Virgo? Absolutely not. But you can totally, you can find a calculator on Google with like, what is my rising and what is my moon sign? And you can just put in your info and they'll tell you what those other signs are for you. Capricorn sun, Gemini moon, and Leo rising. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Deja, do you ever feel like there's like two directions you always want to go at the same time? Like, I like it because I feel like it's like there's like a certain amount of stability to it, but it's also like I'd have to sit with that. I don't want to. I'll sit with that and get back to you in a second here. Yes, yeah, that's what I'm getting is like that. But I also feel like there's this like stability, but there's this like it's almost like a furnace. Like there's this fire driving you, but sometimes you don't know which way you're going, but you're always going the right way anyways. Oh heck yeah. Okay. I'll talk for I need to drink water and then we'll get right to the water signs here. Shaggy Reuben, I'm a twin. Does that change anything about my sign? Not really. No. Brandon, that Virgo sun holding on for dear life. Sometimes. Oh, man. Oh, my God, that was good. You guys are funny. Okay, so we can totally talk about Scorpio are my favorites. Scorpio can be really cool. Oh, that makes sense. Thanks, Shaggy Reuben. Virgo slaps with water signs. Yes. Yes, I get that. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm ramping up for the... Okay, so we can definitely chat more about that, the signs and stuff later. My mom is a Scorpion. She's very intense. Yeah. Does she snap sometimes? I get almost like a snapping fish or like a pike. I don't know how to say what I'm saying. Not snaps like mentally, but you know, slaps is positive. Yes. I did. I took it that way. Yeah. Change your name to Airbender. Why not? Penny Meads, that would be so funny if you like added that to your name. I would love that. I would send you a plaque. Okay. Hey, it's Stella. I'm doing well. And yourself? Oh dear. Hang in there, Orbit Girl. Okay, I'll do water signs here, sun, moon, and rising, and then we can chat. We can chat all night if we want to. I don't think my guys want me to chat all night, but you know what I'm saying. We can chat for a bit. I feel like a twin could be anything. Would a twin be considered a soul family or something else? I feel like a twin could be anything, honestly. What I hear is like it's an experience you're meant to have in the physical. It doesn't always constitute maybe there's a bit of a connection, and like there will probably be soulmates who will choose to incarnate as twins or something like that. But it doesn't necessarily always mean something spiritual, is what I'd say. But twins do tend to have quite a bit of a connection. Like they're showing me like telepathic connections. Not always, but a lot of the time. Or just being very on the same page. Get your guys a drink. Yeet. Okay, so here, this is for the water signs, sun, moon, or rising. So if you have a water sign that's a sun, moon, or rising, like we were just talking about, these will be for you. So buckle up, Buttercup. Let's jump on this roller coaster. First message that came through for the water signs here was Shaggy Reuben. Yeah, give me once we get through water signs, you can ask me a question. Don't put people on a pedestal, water signs. So if there's someone that's important to you or that you look up to, here's the weird message. They're probably not worthy of being on a pedestal. So I would admire them. I would love them. But don't be someone who like licks their boots, if that makes sense. If that makes any sense. I just feel like it's important to stay grounded and not have people above you when they're not, especially in like love or in like job situations, or in like career. I would also, they're putting my eyes towards courteous. I channeled through the word courteous. And so what does courteous mean? Sometimes, like, there was one reading that this really relates to that I saw, and it was I'll give her a shout out because I always give her a shout out. Anna Anthony, Anna's Synergy Healing on Facebook. She had one video about, and it helped me a lot at the time, about being courteous. Because I think I'll tell the story. I just met this girl, and I liked her. Well, I don't think I liked her yet because we were just getting to know each other. But it was so interesting because, like, spiritually, like, you know, I come from my place, like a channel, I have my intuition. There's like a few people I listen to, but like we'd talk and she'd have a very, like, she would listen to all the people I never listened to. And then I'd mention someone that I would like refer to and she'd be like, who? So she'd be like talking about like Teal Swan or like Esther Hicks, and I have nothing against either of them, but I just don't gravitate towards a lot of their stuff. But actually this girl ended up sharing a lot of the quotes from Esther Hicks that was like, oh, actually, yeah, that's, yeah. But when I saw this reading from Anna on her Facebook, it was like this card about being courteous. And it was talking about like how being courteous, like a lot of the things you do when you have a guest over, when it's courteous, you don't do them for you per se. For instance, I think, I'm not a big vampire person, but she used a vampire deck. And on this vampire deck, it was like this feast that the vampire was putting on for someone else. And it's like the vampire doesn't need to eat food, but if their guest is a human, I think these were friendly vampires. I don't know. Don't poach me on this. But like a vampire wouldn't present like a human as food to a human. That'd be kind of messed up. So it's like being courteous and providing things that like, or just like at least listening and like providing information that's more for the other person. So like it's more in how that relates to that girl at the time was like, I was like, okay, she is like, we're very different, like we're not different spiritually because like we ended up really getting each other even though we had like very little of the spiritual teachers in common, if that makes sense. But she's actually one of the only people I've met who like fully gets me, is what I want to say. But that first phase where I was being more courteous and like listening to what she had to say, and I'm not saying I bought everything she had to say, because if I disagreed, I'd be like, oh well, I always get this about this instead, actually. But I was open enough and courteous to her views to where we could find the common points and be like, okay, this is cool. Does that make sense? As a long story to get that message across to everybody here. Anyways, and no, we're not dating currently, by the way. Anyways, next point I had was don't stall, keep pushing. So they showed me like a paper airplane stalling. Now's a good time to like keep motoring on. I don't think it's a good time to hesitate or get caught up or it's pretty much you're going in the right direction, just keep going. And if you don't feel like doing something, do it anyways. Within reason, of course. Next point I have for you guys, if you can dream it, you can build it. Sounds very Bob the Builder, but essentially, it's pretty much just reminding you that it's pretty much don't put your dreams on hold, or if you feel like your dreams are on hold, like you can actually build the land of your dreams or the life of your dreams, and it's reminding you like it is possible, like what are the steps that are needed. Sometimes you don't always know, but if you take the next step, the next will likely be presented. It's pretty much like your dreams are attainable and they don't want you to give up on your dreams. Next point I have here is there is so much more to you than meets the eye, but people are starting to see that. So a lot of you water signs, if you feel like there's a vastness to you, or a complexity, and if you feel like people wrote you off in the past, I feel like people are starting to see more of the depth of you and admiring that, instead of writing it off, if that makes sense. I think people are starting to see more of you, and I would definitely like be putting yourself out there is what they're saying. I feel like people are going to see more you. I think people are able to more so as well. Sometimes people aren't in a place, or they haven't had the experiences necessary to really see you, but I feel like people are waking up more to like the true you, people around you in your life, or they will. I feel like that's, I want to say friendships for some reason, and they're showing me 3 of Cups, so what's that about? I feel like you're going to be happy about how people are seeing you. All that to say that is what I'd say. Next point I have for the water signs here, light levels uprising, light upgrade, more potency. Yeah, pretty much what they showed me was like there's just more light coming in. I feel like you're holding more light, you're expanding, more potent energetically. I see more lights around water signs at this, not, you know what I'm saying, more around you guys for this reading that have the water sign placement. I'm seeing more of like a light upgrade here. And it's kind of like, if you felt like you've needed replenishment, I feel like you're going to get replenishment and then some. I feel like you're going to be like boosting your max levels, honestly. So pretty much an upgrade. I feel like you're going to be able to do, they're adding things in really quickly. You're going to be able to do more etherically. And it's like, it's almost like a video game when you're unlocking, like, I don't want to say weapons because I don't feel like that totally fits the analogy, but like different tools. Or it's like if you need this tool to get to this next level, it's like you're kind of hitting the levels where you're unlocking those higher aspects of what you can do, or like new tools, if that makes sense. I think that'll be cool. So keep that in mind. So keep an eye out for that. Next point I have, life. I feel like it's choppy waters, but it's culminating into something more. They kept showing me a boat in choppy waters, and typically I'd want to go towards Six of Swords, but they're saying no, it's not the Six of Swords, it's choppy waters. I'm like, okay, because Six of Swords is leaving choppy waters. I guess the message is more like you're built for these times and any challenges and tribulations that show up. Because like the boat can handle the choppy waters, metaphorically, pretty easily. So it's like, it's almost like bringing you to life weirdly, and it won't be choppy forever because everyone needs respite and calm at some point. But for now, I would definitely brave the, I don't know if storms is the right words, but they were saying brave the storms, or like the big waves. I feel like it's more like it's almost one of those things where it is a roller coaster. Like it's pretty turbulent, but it like brings you to life, if that makes sense. That's kind of more what I'm saying with this. Next point I have here is more spiritual, more better. Pick up spiritual practices. So I would definitely maintain or cultivate more spiritual practices. I would say very regularly. I think that's just helping you integrate and process life more fluidly. And it's almost artistic, or you're living more artistically the more spiritual you become, but it's more like life as an art. It's not necessarily like all of a sudden your walls are a canvas and you're just like, I'm gonna paint today, blah. It's more like the way you're living your life is artistic. The more spiritual, the more you hone in that spirituality. So definitely maintain whatever resonates for you is a good spiritual practice, some type of spiritual practice on the regular, daily, if you can. This also goes with the don't stall, keep pushing, but stop delaying and take action. There were some similar messages for some of the other signs. It's like, even if you're not sure where to go, keep going. And that sounds weird, but I feel like it's more like if you're on the ocean, like when you're on the ocean and you have a big boat or something and you're charting your course, you don't like stop and then turn and then go and then stop. It's more like you kind of chart as you go and you're like, okay, we need to like turn 2 degrees to the left. So it's more like you are headed in the right direction, and I don't feel like you'll run ashore if you keep going. So it's more just like with the things you should keep going with them, and like really don't delay on like especially your dreams, guys. If you have dreams you want to move towards, don't delay on doing some of the action steps will take you further towards them. And if you're not sure what to do, do something. It's something they want to say, which is funny. Next point, this is where you reevaluate what matters and get rid of what isn't serving you and your highest good. And as I wrote this, they kept showing me like moldy fruit. So it's like, you probably don't need the moldy orange. And like, maybe you like fruit, but no one likes moldy fruit that I'm aware of, that I've met. Does anyone like moldy fruit out there? I get no. So intuition verifies people don't like moldy fruit. But I would definitely take time to like not hold on to something that's rotten, or maybe something that's served its purpose. It's time to get rid of the rot is something I'm hearing. So anything moldy, anything that's no longer serving you, definitely time to reevaluate, why am I holding on to this banana peel? Of course, that's an analogy. Don't take that literally. But, if you are holding on to a banana peel, why are you holding on to the banana peel? I needed that analogy so bad that hits hard. Perfect. I'm glad it's hitting home. That is good. Next point I have is trust the outcomes. And they kept showing me like a cardboard, I'll say it in a second. If something looked real but wasn't, when you discover that happens, if you do, don't worry, because life is leading you to what is real. So they showed this visual of like someone going up to something, I don't know, maybe it's a car, and you're like, sweet, I like cars. And then you walk up to it, and it's a cardboard, like, cut out of a car, and it just falls over, and you're like, that's not real. It's like anything that seemed real, but that wasn't. It's just kind of like that's the step that gets you to what is real. And it could be like a relationship where it seems like this is going somewhere, and you're like, oh, shoot, there goes the cardboard fell over. It wasn't real. It doesn't mean there isn't the real thing for you. It's just further up the path, if that makes sense. Some of the final points I have here for the water signs, I would say they showed me clouds, and like the message was just like stillness and like letting life carry you to where you need to go. I want to get a bit more clarity because it seems slightly different than some of the other messages that came through. I feel like it's this. I think they like the boat analogy a lot, especially for the water signs. But it's like if you're a boat and you're going in a direction, you can still float. Like you can turn them. If you bring the throttle to neutral, the boat still goes. Actually, no. Most boats will stop if you put the throttle to neutral. But if you just turned it off and didn't put the throttle to neutral, the boat would still like float for a ways. So sorry, I'm getting my boats mixed up. I think some boats would keep going. Some boats stop really quickly when you bring it to neutral, like ski nautiques or ski boats. So sorry, I'm getting into boat facts, and that's not where we need to go. I think this is more about that reassess and reevaluate message, honestly. If you need to take time for stillness and floating and reevaluating, do it. But other than that, please don't do it unnecessarily and delay like the actions you need to take. I think in a lot of ways, this is about inviting ease into your life, is something I'm hearing. So I would definitely... This is a weird message, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to like get more details on this because this is so different. It's like they're saying like approach life like a cloud. I'm like, okay, how so? They're like the cloud just drifts to where it needs to go. And the cloud still does everything it needs to do to sustain itself. Like it accumulates water molecules and does whatever it needs to do. But overall, I think like if you feel overly lost, I think like either keep going or float. Those are the two things, but just don't stop. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope somewhere in there with this clouds analogy, something made sense. I think stillness is a key word with that. Okay, poetry teacher. Next point I have. So I would try to be spirited and lively. I would try to keep your hopes alive. I would also not tone yourself down. I feel like I say that for the water signs a lot, actually. I feel like for the water signs, with air signs, they were talking about a dip being ahead. I feel like water signs are coming out of a dip, or like out of a whirlpool. And it's kind of like a phew, dodged that one. But I think like that's pretty much the message. You're coming out of either a difficult experience or just a bit of like a dip in like what you've been experiencing. And I think it's kind of on to better. Next point I have here, make sure you are changing. What is that, guys? What does that mean? I feel like this is about not being attached to identity. So a lot of it is like letting life evolve you and not staying stuck in old patterns, honestly. I feel like this goes back to the moldy fruit analogy we were talking about. It's pretty much just like make sure you are changing and adapting to meet your current circumstances. I feel like water signs are, at least water, you know how water always reshapes itself to fit a container? That was the analogy, the visual they were showing me when I wrote this down, now I remember. So it's just like, don't feel like you need to be a certain way, even if you're in a situation where you don't have to be that certain way. Like for instance, maybe you have to speak a certain way around your father because you don't want to say something that starts a conversation about politics, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to have this conversation about politics with my father again, or maybe it's about spirituality. But when you're around your friends, like, don't feel like you have to still be like that around like different people, if that makes sense. I think this is a bit more multifaceted for this message. Just make sure you are like changing and growing and expanding, and not just like staying in the old ways. I feel like that's interesting. I feel like life really conspires to get us out of that anyways, that staying in the old ways. I feel like, but as your circumstances are changing, you are changing, or you should change with your circumstances, is what I'm hearing. Next point, it's okay to cry, but I don't feel like you're going to be crying much longer. So pretty much, if you need to have a good cry, have a good cry. But I don't feel like you're going to be crying much longer. I don't feel like you're going to have as many reasons to cry. I see a lot of expansion, honestly, as something I'm seeing for the water signs here. And I feel like you're kind of expanding out of past pains and circumstances and realizing you're bigger than that. So that's a good sign. Anything else here? I would also ask for positive excitement from the universe, or ask for a spark. I feel like some of you need that. I think you just need a little bit of like a pick-me-up, or just something that lights you up again, which goes back to that be spirited and lively. I'm going to pull some cards because the messages towards the end started to get really interesting to me. Don't want me to pull tarot. Okay. I'm going to shuffle these. Sorry. So I pulled Seven of Wands, and then I said, I'm going to shuffle because I just showed the Seven of Wands, but then my guides were like, no, Seven of Wands was the perfect card. So what was the message with the Seven of Wands? I'm getting a message about, okay, very cool. So I'm getting a message about going within. I feel like when something is for you, you know it, if that makes sense. So no one can really like tell you you're wrong about something that's for you. So I would definitely stand up for yourself, especially if it's a choice you're making for you that doesn't necessarily pertain to anyone else. There's no reason to be beholden to another's opinion on that stuff. But I feel like you know what's right for you. Ace of Pentacles coming up. I think fresh start is a theme for a lot of the signs, honestly. But I did get like a new beginning or fresh start message with this. I do feel like you're like on the other side, like there's this little archway here. And on the other side of this archway are these mountains and there's new lands. And I hear new lands with behind this archway. I feel like in a lot of ways you've been on a journey with the water signs here and life and what you've been experiencing. But again, with that choppy water, because they were saying the choppy waters were culminating into something more. I feel like this is culminating and kind of conspiring you to, much like with the fire signs, was it? Like lift you up to a new level. So I feel like there's a lot of different avenues. Like they're showing me these streams of water and they pool together and it kind of forms this like pillar of water that lifts you up onto another level, which is very interesting. But I feel like you're gonna either go to a place you thought you'd never been, or you're hitting levels that you didn't think you could reach. I think that's coming up here. And I would definitely pay attention to offers you're getting. I've been getting that a lot in some of the general readings I've been doing. But I feel like new offers lead to new peace is something I'm hearing, for some of you at least. So job opportunities, relationships, just pay attention. Again, make sure it's for you, but I feel like, honestly, new offers are a good thing right now, and you will have them is something they're saying. The Fool popped out as well. I don't know if I mentioned it. I would definitely take a leap of faith if you feel called to here for the water signs here. They're saying, like, the message they're saying is you are the Fool. And so what does you are the Fool mean? I feel like you've come back to this Fool phase where it's almost like maybe the world is your oyster, or it's like there's a lot of different directions you can go, but I think that goes back to the new beginning and the new beginning with the Ace of Pentacles that they're talking about. I feel like you're in this Fool phase, and it doesn't mean you are a fool. It's just like you're like, where now? And I would really try to embody that and embrace that, and not worry so much and like leap off those cliffs, because I feel like it's actually very safe to leap off of the cliffs right now, if that makes sense. There's a lot of good new experiences, and like I just see like leaping off of a cliff, and there's just a pool of water right there, and it's perfect and refreshing. So I would take chances, honestly, is another thing they're saying. I feel like the universe is spinning and judging things in your favor as well. Lori, I feel like it's coming. New job. Sorry, I just said that really quickly. I saw that and I got the message and I just said it. I feel like, I just get like this spinning. I feel like the universe is like spinning things. It's almost like pottery, but it's spinning things in your favor. So you might, I don't know if you'll feel spun around, but in general, like the tables are turning in your favor. I feel like judgment is being called in your favor. And I get the word finally as well. So it might be something you've been like waiting on for a long time, where it's like, oh, things are finally moving, or it's like, oh, I can finally make it through this barrier, or finally get to this next level, whatever it is. And this goes back to the don't delay message with the Hanged Man. I actually feel like you have all you need. Yes, you can float and like get stillness and get clear if you need. But in actuality, like, I feel like you have a lot of the things you need to make the changes you want to see. And you might not think you do, or you might feel nervous about doing it. But I would actually take action. That is something I'm coming through. I need so much unknown. Yeah, and I feel like that's that Fool energy where it's just like, what's next? But it's actually being built as we speak here. They want me to pull an angel card for the water signs. This popped out again. I like this card. Archangel Charity, give with an open heart, be generous. I actually, get the word receive. I would make sure you're receiving help from others. I would make sure you're reaching out to others if you need help with anything. I think that's important. I feel like in some ways the universe is polishing you up to shine. They showed me these, they were pointing my eyes to these sparkles on the card, if you can see them just right there. And they just showed like polishing a shoe, and you're not a shoe, but I feel like the universe is polishing you so you can shine a bit brighter. Just make sure you receive. I think, I feel like you're gonna need that, honestly. Now is a great time to put pen to paper and manifest, or sometime here soon, September. If you're watching this now, also a good time to manifest. I feel like, I know there's a new moon coming up on the 6th, but Archangel Mariel, manifest for the highest good, work with pure love. I feel like you, or a lot of you, are pure, but I would definitely take time to ask for what you want. I know there's been a lot of manifestation like times here, like with Lionsgate. I feel like it happens almost like, at least in the summer, it's like, oh, manifest with this eclipse, manifest with this other eclipse, manifest with the Lionsgate, manifest with this random day that's supposed to be good for manifesting. You're like, well, I just wrote that down like a week ago. They're like, manifest again. So not my guys, just people, the information that's out there. But I still feel like it's a good time to manifest, especially with all this unknown, like you were talking about. There is a lot of unknown for me, but just make sure you're manifesting on the reg and like checking back, like when you attain something, what do you want next? I feel like the universe is infinitely abundant and infinitely capable of bringing things in, so don't limit your manifestations. I would definitely go big. And we'll pull a Mother Mary card. I just pulled that one. I don't want to pull the same one twice. Shuffle. Awkward shuffle time. If you don't know, I don't know how to shuffle cards very well, so... top card. Top 2. Okay, we have Our Lady of the Inner Gates, and then we have Our Lady of Comfort. They're actually showing me the Hierophant, and in the Hierophant, there's like 3 levels. So what is the message here? Our Lady of the Inner Gates. I feel like you're accessing inner wisdom or going like higher, but it's within yourself, which is an interesting message. I feel like if you take time to go within here, and not too much time, but the more you're going within and turning off the outside noise, I feel like the more clarity you're going to have, honestly, as part of the message. I also feel like there's a bit of awakening, and they're showing me like the meridians and like the energy systems. So what's that about? I feel like your energy systems are coming online more, which is very interesting. So you might find you just have a bit more energy flowing through you or something like that, but there's definitely a bit of an awakening going on internally here. And Our Lady of Comfort, I get self-soothe with this card, honestly. I think it's very important to soothe yourself at this time, or reach out to others for soothing. I would also they're showing me, okay, the Empress is popping out right here, so I can, the Empress, they were showing me the Empress in my mind's eye, and the Empress has this cushion, and the message is like, the Empress is meant to be comfortable, at least for the most part. So I would like actually manifest comfort, water signs. I feel like you kind of need a bit of either reassurance or just someone there for you. So even if you just have to reach out to someone and be like, hey, I need a hug, with someone you feel comfortable doing that with, might be helpful just to take some time to snuggle, if that makes sense. Anything else? I would also, like, another message I'm hearing is seek comfort in source. So if you could literally just be like, source, comfort me, and just see what comes in, and the train honked in the background, so confirmation. I also feel like you're being fulfilled is something I want to say. I think like things are coming in that are fulfilling, or you will have fulfillment, or you're going to know what directions to go to bring in fulfillments. But I would definitely try to fly high. I feel like that's it for water signs. Is there anything else for everybody? And we could do some general, or if we want to do some, yep, I need some comfort. I hear ya. Hi, hello, Lauren. Healing Journey Candles, you bring so much clarity. I am grateful that I get to do that. You're welcome, Destiny Adara. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you so much for that. That was cool. The garland, thank you. Who sent that? Lori, thank you for the garland. So we did do Air and Fire. There will be a replay on YouTube. Kloshmo, like that username. Water, yes, thank you. It's been a little bit here. Claire O'Connor, that message was so spot on. Awesome. Or was spot on. Thank you. I'm grateful. You're welcome, Claire O'Connor. I'm grateful. Hey, Texas Jess, good to see you. Someone asked how to get a personal reading. Through the link in my bio. The first link is my website. That's the best way to schedule a reading with me for a personal reading. Thanks, Lyndon. I appreciate that. You're so welcome, Prince Priestess. A friend of mine wants me to buy something from her. Should I get it? If you want it. I get yes, but I feel like it's on the fence, but it's like, if you want it, yeah, I would get it. You're welcome, Destiny. I appreciate you guys. It's always feels good to get on here and do these for you guys. You guys definitely bring some joy into my day, and I'm grateful I get to do this for you guys. I'll do some collective messages, and I think I'll field some questions and hang out with you guys for a bit if you want. Linz Merlin, will I be a successful Reiki practitioner? I get yes, but I feel like you really have to work for it. But you can be, yeah. Queen of Cups, will I be successful in tarot? Yeah, but I would definitely be persistent. I feel like persistence is key for that, at least in the first few phases. I'm grateful for you too, Marina. Thank you. Hey, Purple Lava, good to see ya. So I'm gonna read some collective messages here, and then we can do field some questions, and then we'll go from there. So, well, let's see if there's anything they want to bring through for the collective, for everybody here. So this is for everyone here watching. I feel like I would definitely take time outside and ground. I feel like that could benefit everyone. I do see a lot of moving forward energy in the future, like a few months out. So anyone watching now, I think winter time. I mean, for some of the signs that were specifically like, yeah, take action now, like, yes, take action. But I feel like there's more of like a catapult motion coming in the future. Or if things feel stagnant, they're just kind of like flung. Not the stagnant things get flung, but you might find things just start like going really fast at a certain point. It's like if you're looking at a river, it's like the rapids part of the river, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind. I would definitely take time outside and get grounded. I think that's just going to help with just feeling stable internally. I also feel like collaboration and celebration are going to be supported energetically. I would definitely work with others, or at least celebrate your wins for sure, is something they're saying right now. But I feel like the more you celebrate, the better, weirdly. So I don't know if you just want to have a friends gathering, or if you're just celebrating your little wins. I don't care if you eat an orange slice every time you have a good thought. It's just some type of celebration is good. I think collaborating is going to be very supported as well. Like if you have projects and people you feel called to work with, I would, but I would keep it in like an interdependent place and not like a codependent place or a dependent place. I think as long as like you're standing on your solid ground, it's easier to work with others in a meaningful way as opposed to leaning on them or riding people's coattails. I don't feel like a lot of you guys ride people's coattails, by the way. I don't think that's what a lot of you guys do, but that was just a quick recommendation. I do also get a message for the collective. More soul family is coming in. So you might already have a lot of soulmates or whatever your thing is, twin flames. But I feel like there's just more soul family coming in where you'll just have, it's almost like maybe you had a small gathering, but then like the neighborhood found out. And so everyone's knocking at the door and there's a whole crowd of people when you were just going to hang out with 5. It's more like that. I think there's just, you're going to be surrounded by more of who you're supposed to be around. But I feel like maybe not all, but for the most part, it's good soulmates and soul connections. It's not like treacherous or like, yes, some of it's life lessons and stuff, but not all of it. And that's for some of you. So it's going to be a little bit different for all of you, but keep that in mind. I would also not doubt yourself. I know that came through for some specific signs, but I feel like just don't be a Debbie Downer for you. I would try to be your best cheerleader if you can be, and just realize that you can. I do feel like there is a lot of new coming in for everybody, honestly. I think I've been saying that a lot these past few months where it's like fall, autumn, winter. I think there's just a lot of new energies coming in. And there's been a lot that's like shed to prepare for it. So keep that in mind. There is new coming in. I think you guys are seeing some of it. I do also get this message of like great uprising. I feel like as people regaining their power, that might be something you see on the world stage, interestingly enough. But I think in general, I think people are coming back to their power centers within themselves and realizing their divine potency. So I feel like in some ways it does pertain to, let me see what they're saying. I think in some ways people are fed up with certain things, so you just might see more of, it's not bad. I would definitely not be worried about it or concerned, but more of like a people power thing coming in. I would also say there's no need to fear was the next thing I have written down here. I think like there's a lot that seems scary, but in the grand scheme of things, it will be okay. I feel like everyone here watching this, whether it's live now or on the YouTube replay, is taken care of, honestly, is what I'm hearing. So no need to fear. Definitely take care of your business. Definitely do, what's for the highest good for you to do, but try not to be afraid unnecessarily. I do feel like peace is being restored. I feel like more peace is coming in. I feel like the universe is is restoring peace for a lot of you guys. Or just where there's any perturbance or just friction, it's just kind of restoring a bit more of a gentle, easy flow. Or maybe not that totally, because it's going to be a bit different for each of you. I just see more peace. I would also, this was for a few of the signs, so I think it's collective as well. But the message is stop waiting. I would definitely, try to create the new and, expand and use all your tools to create new instead of waiting. I just feel like waiting's not a good idea right now, and I think that's going to be a little bit different for each of you, but I just keep hearing waiting's not a good idea right now. So do your best not to wait if you can help it, or at least work on something you want to work on while you're waiting in the grand scheme of things if you feel like you have to wait. And I already talked about grounding, so anything else? I'm going to pull some collective cards. Second to bottom card. Oh, that's weird. Our Lady of Dark Mysteries. That sounds interesting. So what? I've never pulled this card before, so I'm going to see what they say. I get the words mystery is unveiled is the first thing I hear. I feel like for those of you who feel worthy, I would keep feeling worthy because she's wearing this crown. And they were saying something about wearing your crown with pride. But I feel like in a lot of ways, there are a lot of mysteries that are going to be unveiled in the coming months. I do get winter, weirdly enough, so I find that very interesting. I think if anything seems dark, I think that's more on the world stage. Yes, there are some things going on that are just, probably not ideal. I feel like things just aren't as dark as they seem is the message. I feel like there's a lot of light involved in unveiling the darkness and having it released from the earth. And I don't know why, I guess I just opened this deck and Our Lady of Answered Prayers came in. I feel like a lot of manifestations will come to fruition. I think this goes back to this is a good time to manifest as well as what I'm getting with this card, Our Lady of Answered Prayers. So I would definitely like keep putting your desires out there. I think the universe wants to see you happy. And I feel like it's time for a lot of you is something I'm also hearing. So I would keep making wishes and definitely take action. I also get with this card, the steps are being unveiled and they're kind of showing like a dark staircase. But it's almost like once you take the journey, I'm not saying take the journey into the dark as in like bad dark or like dark versus light. It's more like a dark stairwell. Like you step into the stairwell and you take a journey into the dark or the vast unknown. But once you get there and like you see the stairs are glow in the dark, but you wouldn't have seen that, right away if you hadn't taken that step. So I think like the path will be lit as you go forward. It's something that was coming through a few times on this live. But that's something they want to say is like, even in any darkness, there's going to be a light that shines the way forward. And even if you feel lost and confused, it doesn't mean that's going to be the rest of your days. A lot of those things are temporary. So I would actually try to, I always recommend asking for clarity and ease and a way forward when you hit those points. They're talking about Archangel Uriel, and I feel like sometimes Archangel Uriel, the meaning ascribed to Archangel Uriel that I've seen is like God's light, or God is my light. And so I feel like Archangel Uriel is a good one to call upon to help light your pathway. And perhaps also burning away things that don't serve, because he always has a torch. But I would say like definitely working with Uriel is a good idea if you feel lost or confused. Fun fact, he can also be an archangel of helping you develop psychic gifts. So if anyone wants to do that. I'm going to pull an angel card here. Dude, I just opened to Archangel Uriel. I literally just like opened the deck and there he is. So someone fell out, so let's see. Archangel Muriel, which is manifestations. So a lot about manifestations and answered prayers. So I feel like that's... there's a lot being answered, you just don't see it yet. I would also take any adventures you want to take, even if they seem unknown with this card. I just feel like the way is going to be lit. But I want to see if Archangel Uriel has anything else to say here regarding, because we just talked about him. I think he just wanted to come out. He's like, I just wanted to come out. So okay, here he is. So anything else, guys? I feel like it might feel like it's a waiting game right now for a lot of you, but it's not. So bear with me while I get further information on that, because they just said that. So what does that mean? I feel like it feels like you're waiting, but you're actually moving forward, and the collective is moving forward. But it's almost like there isn't a reference point for like moving forward right now. For instance, like if you're flying through the vastness of space, it might not feel like you're moving anywhere if you don't see anything else in reference to tell you that you're moving somewhere. And it's like, interestingly enough, I kind of feel like it's in this weird point where like things are moving, but it's like hard to tell they're moving. But I just want to say it doesn't mean they're not moving. And they keep showing me Santa Claus, so I want to see what that message is about before I end this reading portion here. I do see a lot of gifts coming in. I would also pay attention to Christmas time as like a turning point for the collective for the better, which I find is really interesting. So I think all will be well. And the first thing that I wrote down here in this notebook before I even started jotting down the messages, right here in the corner, it's mirrored so you can't read it right. It says, I'm going to unmirror this just so you can read this. It says, all is well, and very okay handwriting. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's fine handwriting. It works for me. But all is well. And in all my channeled messages I've been channeling for myself on the daily, I'm going to remirror it so I don't get confused. They have me writing over and over again, like, all is well, all will be well, all is well, all will be well, day in and day out. And it's not like they always do that, but recently, like the past week or so, that's been something that's been coming down a lot. So I just wanted to leave you with that message as well. I get that's it. So I hope that all resonated and made sense. I kind of feel like I want to wrap it up in a different way, or like give some type of like, where are we headed kind of thing. I feel like everyone's headed in a good direction. They just don't see it. It's kind of the message. And that's going to kind of culminate at different points for each of you. So I would definitely bear with it. And just kind of hang on. I think, again, the message, like, things aren't as bad as they seem. So that's a lot of what I'm getting. And, you know, wish fulfillment, another card of wish fulfillment. So I would definitely, if you felt like your manifestations are coming, I really feel like they are coming. And I would definitely make a lot of wishes this autumn as well. Okay, so I'll hang out for a little bit more here. We can do, yeah, no, for sure. It's very reassuring to me too, with the all as well. What do you want for your birthday? What do I want for my birthday? You know, it's funny because I feel like the universe, I did ask the universe for like, just to kind of surprise me with a gift, like a gift from the universe. The universe and I have had this thing where we, like, there's like a crystal, a birthday crystal that shows up the past 2 years. For one, I can show you guys, it's just in the other room. Like 1 year, like a couple of years ago, I went into a rock shop and there was this just beautiful fluorite. And for no reason at all that I could tell, it was in the half off section, and it was this big honking, I'd never seen anything like it. I was pretty enamored. I'm like, why is this half off? And so I think I put it on consignment at the time because it was still kind of expensive, because I think it was supposed to be like a $200+ crystal. But I got this amazing fluorite, like half off, and then this gigantic, the big selenite back here, that came on my birthday last year. Which was also pretty well priced. But I've also been like looking to get this quick personal thing. I wanted to get either an iPad or some type of drawing pad, because there's like a lot of projects I want to do that have to do with drawing. That's kind of TBD, to be declared. But I don't have the tools right now to like draw or create physical media the way I want to or need to with some of the projects I'm doing. So that's something I'm looking at too. But that's we'll see. I also like to ask that my gifts get boosted for my birthday too, but we'll see what they say with that. I don't think they wanted me to say that on the live, but we'll see. Fluorite is beautiful. Okay. If you guys want to hang out, I can do a little bit of Q&A or just hang out with you guys. I collect rocks. Heck yeah. Thank you, Tabby. Thank you, Pilates by Andrea. I really appreciate that. Thanks, Destiny. Healing Journey candles. Healing Journey candles. So I'll just try to answer as many as I can. Q&A is probably the best place to put questions here. Yes, hang out. So I'll channel some answers. I'll hang out. I'll take it one at a time here. So Q&A, definitely the best place to put questions, because then they're when it's just in chat, it scrolls by really quickly and it's hard for me to find it sometimes. But Q&A, as long as it doesn't get inundated, at least there's a chance I'll find it. It's pretty much what I'd say. But I was going to answer Healing Journey candles. So I get this visual of like, well, first of all, Archangel Aurora, welcome new beginnings, let the sun shine in your life. Very positive omen. I get like stay the course, and maybe there's some small adjustments you want to make, but I see like you're going, and they're almost showing it to me. The visual, I can't quantify it because like the intuitive visual makes sense to me, but when I try to explain it, I'm going to ask for the best words. But if you think of it like you're going in this direction, and I feel like all that you need, they're showing it almost like a jet ski, but it's not a jet ski. It's like you're going in this direction, but then like as you keep going, like these other things you need kind of fall into formation with you. And it's like you might have it start with a jet ski, but all of a sudden these pieces come in, and all of a sudden you have a bigger boat. And then more comes in, and suddenly you have a freight liner, and then you have a battleship. I don't know. It's almost like I would forge ahead. And if you need to make little adjustments, I would do it. But overall, are you on the right course? I feel like you're very on the right track. It's just you're waiting on some of the things to come in, like from the universe, from others around you, that like bring in more of what you need, if that makes sense. Healing journey candles. And if you feel like you need to learn a bit more about what you want to do, I would. Archangel. Oh, thanks for the pearl, Lori. I appreciate that. Pearls are pretty synchronistic for me. I've been seeing pearls a lot recently. Deja, yes. I would say yes to answer that really quickly. And I'll talk more about that in a second. But healing journey candles, yeah, if you need to learn a bit more about what you want to do, I would. And there's this song that's popping into my head. And it's this card popped out, and it has this bowl here. And it talks about the, like in Japan, when they, you know, that meme that went around when they fix a bowl, they do it with gold leaf to show that something is more beautiful once it's been worked with or you know, broken and healed. And like one of the quotes or the lyrics that just popped into my head is this song by Lee Harris, and it's called "There Is Light Here Somewhere" or something. And in this song, there's this lyric, and it says, "You are not broken, you are just coming back to you." And so I feel like there is a bit of a deep healing on the rise or imminent with you. But I feel like that, so what, can you guys give me a summary? I feel like you are healing, and this is a start, actually. Not necessarily the end. If that makes sense, or if you feel like you're healing, it's more of like you're coming into a higher version of you, into more beauty. And I don't feel like you're broken because of what you've been through. Again, it's just like it's leading you to that higher trajectory, if that makes any sense. I would also be discerning. I would also try not to let people tell you how to live your life. If you feel like it doesn't resonate, is something they're saying as well, because they're pointing my eyes to these samurai swords, which can definitely point towards discernment. And that's what it means for me. But they give me the meaning when they point my eyes to it, so that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I would also ask for upliftment, healing candles journey, if that makes sense. I hope that helps. Oops, Deja, did I confuse you? Hold on. Okay. I hope that made sense. Healing candles journey, healing journey candles. What did I miss? I was gonna answer one. I made a lot of vision boards. Do you think that's working out as manifestation? I think yes, so. They're pointing towards your most recent one. If you have one, I would also like, interesting thing is like, I don't know if you've done any energy work, Deja, but they're talking about energizing the manifestation. So it's like, for instance, if you did Reiki, like you might have a vision board and you'd take a moment each day when you had a second and like send Reiki to the vision board to help manifest it, or send healing energy. But you could also use like the intention, like, source, please energize these manifestations. Thank you so much, with that intention. And that would work if you don't know how to do energy work, or aren't, I don't want to say you don't know how to do it, but like you're not familiar with that. That's something they wanted to say, if that makes any sense. I feel like your most recent one's really good though, Deja. Anyways, back to Q&A. Thank you, Mushikite. Thank you. Any suggestions on grounding yourself? Okay, well, we'll get through here. Any suggestions on grounding yourself? For the person who asked, what is that? I'm definitely a big fan of bare feet on the earth. Correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you're a great visualizer, so you might want to visualize, like, there's that, visualization with like luminous roots going down to the earth, and just pulling up Earth's, pure energies from the center of the earth and grounding yourself optimally. I do also, for anyone else listening, I like to recommend like just asking to be grounded, or it's just like, Earth, Gaia, please send up the highest and best pure loving energies to ground me optimally at this time. Thank you. And you should feel the energy come up and ground you, or whatever you experience. I don't want to get too grounded here. But I hope that helps. Any other tips on getting grounded? I mean, hematite and black tourmaline are probably two of the more grounding. I think hematite's probably the most grounding crystal I've encountered, to be honest. Black tourmaline does help as well, though. Okay, I'm going to go through the Q&A here. Michelle or me, 981 asks, is my mom going to be okay? I feel like overall, yes, like in the long term. I don't know the exact situation, but what would be SMS for me to, what's the SMS message on this? I think it's what I said. Overall, yes, I feel like yes. I don't know, it might take a second if there's any like time involved with this. But long term, yes, is what I get. I would hang in there. Am I still here? Okay. Woodlands. Why not? Should I be single? I get no. I don't think there's anything. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with being single or in a relationship. I don't think there's anything wrong with being single right now, but I don't know if there's really a reason to stay single unless you want to stay single, though, is something I'd say as well. I hope that makes sense, but they were kind of just saying no as far as should you be single. But if you are, there's nothing wrong with that. What's going on with me and my job? I feel like you need a new one, Texas Jess. I don't know if you got a new one. I think I remember talking to you or on one of these lives about a job situation for you. What's going on with her and her job? I feel like it's a bit in flux. That I don't know if I'm telling you anything new about that, but what's the answer? I kind of feel like you're gonna get launched to a new one. Is what I see. It's like it's kind of in flux, and then it kind of like it's almost like waves, and then like you get launched into a new one. I feel like you'll be happy where you're going, though, if that makes any sense, Texas Jess. I hope that even makes sense to your circumstances. Let's see. 69 people live on. 69 people on live. For some reason, I read that in my mind as 69 people live on Earth. I'm like, that sounds really funny, but I don't think, but it says 69 people on live. Yeah. So, Texas Jess, does that answer that though at all? I feel like, I think you'll be okay there if you stay, but I think overall, like you're kind of being sent to a new one is what I get. It does. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of questions I want to answer at the same time. Linda Thorpe, will my daughter be okay? Health problems. I get, yeah. I think that's another one that's going to take some time, though. I would definitely be gentle with her. I'm sure you already are. But let's see. I do feel like she'll be okay. I do feel like it will be probably a full recovery, or close to it, if not that. But it's not going to be right away. I hope that makes sense and helps. That's what I get. Okay. Sure, okay. Will Mike and I be together in a relationship soon? My body pendulum is swinging to yes. I do hear more than likely. But I would also try not to force him into it. I don't think you're someone who tries to force people anyways, honestly, based on what I'm hearing. But that's what I got really quickly, if that helps. But be patient. Be patient. Kloshmo, should I pursue a relationship with Bryce? Come on, guys. I get like yes. I don't think it'll go as far as you want, though, is something I'm hearing. I don't think there's anything wrong with pursuing it. Would it be in the highest good for you to get in a relationship with Bryce? I don't know if it's going to end well, honestly, if you get into one, when I try to rephrase that question and ask it a different way. Um, I feel like it's worth pursuing for the experience. I don't feel like he's the one, though, is what I'd say. Buzzkitten, are there any messages for me? I'm struggling. Yeah. You're gonna get justice. Justice card popping out here. They wanted me to pull tarot. I would be very discerning with the people you surround yourself with, by the way, Buzzkitten, and make sure they lift you up and are comforting, and not people that make you uncomfortable. I feel like a lot of what's going on is actually building your strength here, because they pointed my eyes to the pillars and they gave me the words pillar of strength, and they were saying that. I don't feel like you're necessarily someone who's, like, you're not someone that you would mess with in general, but some people might try. So what are the other messages for you right now? Because she's struggling. It does get better. I think, I feel like you have been holding the light for others. But sometimes if you don't feel like anyone else is holding the light for you, I don't want to say it's easy to lose hope, but it can be easy to lose hope. So I would say, like, I would ask the universe for legitimate hope, not just random hope. I feel like you do have hope coming, and I think, anything else for you? I kind of feel like you need better people around you to reiterate that point. Anything else? Angel card. Yeah, being a blazing light, which goes back to that holding a light thing. Archangel Rokiel, enter higher planetary service, be a blazing light. I'm also hearing something about trying to go bigger with what you're doing, like if there's a project or like something you want to try to do. I would try to go big and not play small. I think you do. They keep saying holding light and holding a lot of light. Try not to burn yourself out for other people, or make sure you don't burn yourself out for other people. And make sure people are there for you as well. And don't be afraid to reach out if you don't feel like people are just gonna do it for you, if that makes sense. Because I feel like there are people around you who would help, but you might have to initiate that. I want to pull out the card. This is what's coming. Our Lady of the Abundant Garden. I feel like you have been planting seeds, Buzzkitten, for the future. I think like you've been waiting on the fruit from those seeds, but that is coming. I feel like if you are lonely at all, I don't feel like you're going to be, honestly, too much longer. I think you're going to have what you need there in the future. Also, you're lucky. They're pointing my eyes to these 4-leaf clovers here on this card. There's a bunch of them. They wanted to say you're lucky here. I don't know if there's supposed to be 4-leaf clovers, but that's the message they wanted me to provide, so I'm running with it. For this instance, they are 4-leaf clovers. Anything else you want to say? In some ways, I would stay the course. I think I feel like you're waiting on certain things to drop in, but they are coming, is something I'd say as well. I hope that makes sense, Buzzkitten. Okay. Prince Priestess. I'd love a love reading if you have time. Okay. It's coming. This is the first thing I hear. Prince Priestess. I feel like you're a great... Here's what they're saying. I'm not just saying this. Here's what they're saying. You're a great person. I feel like you need a great person on the other side of you in a relationship, if that makes sense. I feel like you need someone who's going to mirror that in a certain way. And I feel like that's what's on the way. I feel like love has been a little bit like... They're saying like fun, but fun in parentheses where it's not actually fun, if that makes sense. I think you're ready for something serious. I don't know if you see a lot of those serious offers yet, though. But I would definitely brace yourself, because I think like the moment you hit a certain point in your self-healing journey, it's gonna be like they're showing me like like Noah's Ark. That's a bad analogy. Or like castle gates. Like they're showing me like these gates like dropping, and then there's like all these people like, oh, there she is, or there you are, and then they go for you. So I think like you're coming to a point or a threshold where people, I don't know if you've ever felt like people chased you, but I feel like they're saying people are going to chase you again is what they're saying. So I just think like you're not there yet. I think the universe is trying to get you to a better spot on your own, and then like love will find you pretty much. I don't think you have to put in too much effort right now, but love is coming is what I'd say. As long as putting yourself out there gently would be enough. Is there anyone in your life right now that's romantically interested in you? I think there's at least a couple people interested in you right now. Do you have the right person to date with you right now in your life? I don't feel like they're there yet. The person that you're, that would be a good long-term option. I feel like there's some people that are like good, but not the one you're looking for, if that makes sense. But that is coming in the future. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm gonna pull another card too here. I would make sure they're not immature, is what I'd say with the Page of Pentacles. So that Page of Pentacles is typically like an offer, but it's someone younger or immature. But the words my guide said were make sure it's someone not immature. And Five of Pentacles, typically a card of being left out in the cold, usually not very fun in a relationship reading. But I feel like you're moving out of this energy is honestly why they say that. And be wary of people who move too fast is something I want to say with that card. Archangel card. Okay, there we are again with the Sun card. I'm going to shuffle these. Guardian Angel. Yeah, that's that rejection is protection kind of thing. And when you're in love, that's hugely helpful. Perfect. That makes a ton of sense. Yeah. But you are divinely protected. I don't feel like like the words I get are it can't be just anyone. I think that's part of the problem with when you're you and you're like working with a relationship is it can't just be anyone. But the universe knows this, and that's why you're protected from bad outcomes. I'm not saying like things haven't broken your heart, but it's more like things could be worse, if that makes sense. And you're protected from the people who won't bring you to the right place is what I'm getting. Okay, I hope that helps, Prince Priestess. But you definitely deserve love. And they said that. I'm not just saying that to be nice. Yeah. Will my BFF Mimi survive COVID? My body pendulum's going to yes. I get high probability of survival. I'm really sorry to hear that. Because when it hits hard like that, it can hit hard. You're the best. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Prince Priestess. Cheryl K1, am I with my forever love? I get they're a very, very good option to stay with. I would not try to strike out to find a different love, honestly, at this point, Cheryl, unless there's any type of abuse or anything not good going on. But I don't think there is based on what I'm getting. Sorry, I'm scrolling through Q&A. Are you doing anything special for your birthday? No. I think I'm getting dinner with my parents the day before my birthday, but I forgot to plan anything, if I'm being honest. I have a friend who wanted to kind of throw a party for me at her house when she moves into her new house, which is very awesome of her, and I appreciate that. But I completely forgot to plan anything. So no. I am actually I'll say it really quickly and I'll keep answering questions here, but I'm thinking about taking a trip to Texas the second week of September. So if anyone knows around Austin, so if anyone knows any cool areas or things to check out, I would love to hear about it. Blissful 1111 asked anything from my guides. Pilates by Andrea. Should I apply for the home loan I want? It doesn't hurt to try. I do feel like it's worth going for. They're it doesn't matter if you don't get it, go for it. Okay, so I would actually. I feel like you can get it, but I feel like if it's not this one, it's the next one, honestly. But the other thing they're saying is at least you'll know where you'll stand, is something they said. Wait, is Texas Jess actually in Texas? Deja, why are you nervous? Oh, a trip to Trinidad. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Blissful. Anything from your guides? They want me to pull tarot. Come to Houston. I can visit Houston. Urgh. So all the cards in the world fell out of this deck. Not really. That'd be a lot. I feel like you have unnecessary worries is the first thing, Blissful. I feel like there's a lot that's playing out really well. I don't know if you see that as playing out really well, but I feel like you will. I do think things are going to get better if they are not good. Three of Wands was the next card, which is, again, like that waiting energy. I get like waiting on the world to change was the song lyrics that popped into my head. So what's with the Three of Wands? I feel like your ships will come in because sometimes Three of Wands is like waiting on your ships to come in. But I would also take action. I would not wait around too long if you feel like you're waiting. But at the same time, I wouldn't like scramble, if that makes sense, to get anything done. If that makes any sense, I don't feel like I totally nailed that message. So let me sit with it just a second longer. What's up, guys? I do feel like there's new coming in for you, Blissful. I do feel like you're going to have to be patient. And if you have like you feel like you're juggling possibilities, I would go with the one that would be more fulfilling for you. I feel like sometimes if you ask yourself like, okay, would this be fulfilling for me? And you get no, and you feel like, would this be fulfilling? And you get yes on a different one, I would go towards the more fulfilling option. This is where you're headed, is Six of Wands, which is victory. They just said this is where you're headed. I do feel like horse spirit animal is also something to look out for, is something they're saying. And horse spirit animal, when it shows up, at least in some of the readings I've had from some of really cool practitioners and the way they want to present it to you as well, my guides, is horse spirit animal shows up to get you where you need to go. Even if you're not sure how in the world you're going to get there, it does just kind of, it's like you get on horse. This is another thing from my reading with Anna Anthony, who I shouted out earlier. You get on horse, and how horse kind of like it'll take you around the obstacle or through the obstacle or over, but it's like one way, shape, or form. You just get where you need to go, and you're like, I don't know how that happens, but you got there, and that's horse spirit animal getting you to where you need to go. I feel like you have like a lot of options is something I'm hearing. I feel like you already know what's right for you, though, and I would not second guess it if that resonates for you and you do know what's right for you. Anything else from your guides? I would also not hold back in like speaking your truth and speaking up and putting yourself out there in the world and applying for jobs and anything. I would not hold back. I feel like now is a very powerful time for you to take action, is what I'd say. Blissful 1111. Anything else? I feel like you're not here yet, but you can have this. It's kind of like that Six of Wands. Like, I feel like choosing the right options leads to this, but you already know the right options is something they're saying, and I don't mean to confuse you, but I hope that helps. I feel like you will have fulfillment is something I'm hearing. I'm gonna say it's one. May I have a message from Source, please? Yeah. What's the message? If you feel like there's a long journey ahead, or a long journey, whether it's like recovery or healing, whatever it is, it's definitely worth the long journey. Like on this card, there's this mountain and this, there's kind of like a path that sort of seems to wind around and then up this mountain, but it leads to the sun. So I would definitely like take any long journeys you want to go on. And that's metaphorical, by the way. It doesn't mean travel to Europe or wherever necessarily, but it does mean like whether it's self-healing or self-growth or building a business, like definitely worth taking the long journey. I would definitely seek and strive for balance here with Archangel Raguel popping out. Be fair in all situations, resolve your conflicts. I feel like internal balance, or even don't get too caught up on this, but chakra balancing might also be a good thing to undertake. Because I feel like one thing they're talking about is like when you balance your vital energies and your chakras, you're also balancing your life. And or you can hold that intention while you're doing that, and like you're energetically balancing your life at the same time you're balancing your chakras, is something they're talking about there. I feel like you're growing really quickly, but I feel like it's internal, MS Ace. I don't know if you jive with that, but that's what I'm hearing with this card, Archangel Pramilek. And I see that because there's these butterflies and the dragonflies, and that's the message they gave me when they pointed my eyes to them. I would also do your best not to get too scattered in life. I would do your best to try to focus on like the task at hand or what's in front of you. And they're giving me this story that a friend of mine, not a story, a friend of mine had this thing that he'd say. Lint Liquor 3443. I feel like that was the right choice, yeah. Sold a house and moving to Arkansas. I feel like it's a good idea for you. Anyways, MS Ace 1, back to you. Try not to get scattered. So there was a story, or this idea a friend of mine talked about, and he talked about working in a factory job. He's like, I always thought, like, this is what he said, I always thought it would be interesting. This is not what I think. But what he talked about basically was like, if he ever had a factory job, he would take that like opportunity to just be as mindful and present as he could with what was in front of him. Like almost like a meditation of like taking this thing, putting it here, assembling this thing, taking this thing, putting it here, assembling it here. So it's like, I'm not saying to get a factory job and to be mindful with all your motions, but the message is more like focus on what's in front of you and take it one task at a time. And it's like that chop wood, carry water, where it's like before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, after enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So it's more of that, where it's more focusing on the task at hand and try not to get too in your head about the world or life circumstances. I feel like everything will resolve neatly, but they want you to stay focused, if that makes any sense, just on what you need to do and on what would help you. I hope that makes sense. Destiny, you were asking if your gram will survive COVID. I get more than likely, I mean, my body pendulum swinging to yes. That might be a long journey though, is something they're saying as well. I don't know if they're saying something about complications. I really hope that's not the case. I feel like she'll survive though, because they're playing that I Will Survive song. I feel like through the pandemic is what I get. Thanks for the roses, Shaggy Rubin. I appreciate it. You're welcome, MSAce1. Sharon LaRose. Will I get my own place this year? I think next year, honestly. I feel like you'll come close to getting it this year. I feel like it's going to be December if it's this year. Unless you're like ready to go and ready to go. I really feel like it's next year more than likely though. That's what I'm hearing. I hope that helps. So I'm so sorry, guys. My guides want me to end. She was just put on a ventilator. Ooh, yeah, that's the complications. I would definitely keep her in your prayers. I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Sam I Am, for the confetti. I think Marina, will Cam's college moving go smoothly? I think yes, for the most part. I don't feel like there are going to be any major hitches, just like normal moving stuff. Did I miss yours, Deja? I'm so sorry. My guides do want me to end the live soon here, but I'll keep going for a bit. I don't see it. Esme, yes, you will get out of your tower moment, by the way. Oh, she asked that at like the beginning of the live. I'm so sorry, Esme. Yes, I feel like you will. Who did I miss? Shaggy, can you reiterate your question? Because I didn't see it. I know I said I'd get to you, so I want to try to answer that. Thanks, a lot of moving parts. Yeah, I think it'll work out. Telepathically trying to tell Brandon to go to bed. One of these days we should just have a hangout live. That would be so cool. That would be fun. Because yeah, I know I get wrapped up in Q&A and then and we don't always get to hang out. Lynn's Maryland, do I really need knee surgery? I get no, but I also don't feel like it's a bad idea at the same time. You can get it, but I would hold off if you're not comfortable, honestly, is what I hear. Like, you don't need knee surgery, but would it be in the highest good for her to get knee surgery? I would hold off until you feel comfortable with it. Again, I'm not a doctor. Shaggy Rubin, can you tell me what they are trying to tell me? Your guides. Also, you're worth hanging out because you're not because you're giving anything. Thanks, Prince Priestess. That means a lot. Let me see. What are they trying to tell you? What are they trying to tell Shaggy Rubin? I get a lot of visuals and messages, like they're showing you, and it's like, I pulled this Our Lady of the Sacred Hearth card again here, so I'm going to shuffle these again here. But they're talking about growing. I feel like they're talking about growing you. I feel like you're definitely in a growing phase. I feel like, here's this thing. They're like, if you feel like you're walking up this endless staircase of like either like a growing trajectory or like challenges, there is an end to it, but you do have to push through this time period as something that, because it showed like this endless staircase, but there's actually a top to it. I feel like they also really want you to go within, Shaggy Rubin, and like not listen to the noise that's out there in the world. Like, definitely shut off the news if you've been listening to it. But even like other people around you, I think like you have a lot of answers for you that are within you, but I don't know if you always hear them, because I think like it's like a lot of different voices in your ear, or a lot of different opinions, or people talking about what you should do. But I feel like you have a clear path ahead of you. You just kind of need to start in some ways with like what you want to do, some of where you're headed. That's another thing they're showing me. Anything else for Shaggy Rubin? So I pulled the World card, and they started saying like, you know, he's got the whole world in his hands. So it's kind of like the world is your oyster. So it's like, I feel like you're in a place where you can do a lot of what you want to do. They do want to recommend you honing in on your passions and yes, like if there's any responsibilities you have to do, take care of it. But as far as like those stories of like what you should do when there's like, you don't necessarily have to do them, or it's not actually what you should be doing. For instance, like, I'm not saying this is the exact example, it's just an example, like going to college. Like, a lot of people will tell you you should go to college, but it's like there's a lot of professions where unless you need a degree to do that profession, you don't really need to go to college. And maybe it's not the best idea, because then you're in a bunch of debt and you're like, what do I do with this I don't know, plant feeding degree? Like, I don't want to be a plant feeder my whole life. That's obviously a joke. But I feel like do what you want to do, not what people think you should do on paper. Do what makes sense to you. And again, Seven of Cups showing up, which is a lot about choices. So anything else? I feel like in a lot of ways you're on the right track. Just don't force yourself to go down other people's choices. Does that make sense? Is that what you were talking about? Because that's what a lot of what I get, a lot of the messages I get for you. Been doing breath work and some energy work. Good. Keep doing that. I feel like you can channel as well, but I feel like that'll be a bit of a journey. And a good way to practice that is, and I'm borrowing this from Lee Harris, because this is how he talks about having other people channel, is like you sit down with a notebook in front of you, and at the top you write, what does my soul want to tell me? And then you just kind of write down what comes through. And it's one thing he said that is something I'm going to start saying for other people as well, because I have had a few people that I reach out for coaching on developing their gifts, so I'm helping them. And one of the things that he said was like just showing up and getting in the frequency of receiving messages. That's like the practice. And then like as you keep showing up, like you'll start to get those like, what does my soul want to tell me? And then you'll start getting answers. So that too. Plant feeder, yeah. Lynn's Maryland, am I on the right job? it's not the best. Like you're in the right place and you're always exactly where you need to be. But overall, I don't feel like it's where you're going to want to be forever. I would definitely look into either upgrading, probably with a new company, honestly, and getting something else going. How may we get a reading? I'd love a reading. Your gift is beautiful. So, I mean, I'm probably going to end the live really soon here because my guides told me to end the live like, they want me to keep going for a bit. So if you want a personal reading through the link in my bio on my TikTok, that's one way to book a reading with me for a personal reading. If you want, I'm doing this now as well. If you want to get a reading just on a live, I just do that for free. Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. Central Time, I go live, and it does get pretty inundated, so I can't promise I'll get to you, but I do try to do a lot of channel messages and channeling for people that way. Should I end the live? Listen to yourself too, Brandon. Yeah, I feel like I need to end the live soon here. Maybe like one more, but I'm kind of hitting my point here. I don't know what time it is because I got a new phone and it doesn't tell me the time when I'm live, which is kind of cool in one respect because then I'm just in the zone. But I'm also, oh hey Gina, how's it going? You're welcome, Shaggy. I hope that helped. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, sorry guys, I need to end the live. I'm sorry. I'm hitting my point here. Time to sleep o'clock. Thanks for your amazing. Yeah, for sure. You're welcome, Prince Priestess. Hey Lacey, how's it going? Definitely hitting my point here, but love you guys. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful I get to do this with you guys and hang out with you guys. Oh, there's like numbers on your guys' profiles. What is this? Sorry, I got distracted by things here. But thanks for the fire. Thanks for the roses. I'm always grateful to hang out with you guys. Oh, thank you, Lyndon. I really appreciate that. Always grateful to see you guys and be able to do this. And so I hope, hey, Nikki, how's it going? I'm just logging off here. But you guys take care as well. The replay will be up on YouTube with all the general readings. And if you missed your signs, but other than that, I'll see you guys Sunday morning, and I just hope you have a beautiful day or night, whatever time it is for you. You're welcome, Lundlicker, which I feel weird saying that, but that's your username. Take care. You as well, Deja. Thank you, Prince Priestess. I thank you so much. I appreciate you. Destiny Adara, you have an amazing weekend as well. Thank you so much. And you guys are so welcome. So I'm going to... anything else before I go, guys? All right. I wish you well. You're welcome, guys. You all take care.